But yeah, great day for Ireland, and they deserve that victory, and they rise after that. I mean, it gave such an impetus to cricket in this country. From that point of view, being a student of the game, having seen Ireland after that victory, it was really good for the game. And I mean, these kind of upsets and surprises, we do need to have them. And a surprise today, I don't think so. This is pretty much subcontinent condition.
Never forget within Irish cricket in terms of 17 years ago, St. Patrick's Day been an element of the revolving doors, kind of in and out. But is that a great piece of news? Gary Kirsten coming in for the white ball stuff. Or Gazar Mahmood, all his experience too.
Yeah, if you put it in perspective, it's, if you look at in the context of the World Cup, I mean, it's a sudden change and it's a huge change to happen. But with the experience of Gary Kirsten, I mean, but we all know that in this game, there is no magic to success. There is a process, and it's too soon. They're lacking in long-term planning, long-term vision of how they want to approach this T20 format. There's still a lot of debate as how they want to go about those 20 overs in terms of batting. What kind of influence Gary Kirsten will bring, that'll have to be seen.
I think he's going to bring a lot. Very quickly, just one word each. Predictions, Isabel?
In the series or in the game?
Just today.
Pakistan win.
Okay. Faisal?
Pakistan
okay,
win.
Time for the anthems. Time to get out and go and join those. And you'll hear the voice of Alan Wilkins, our co-commentator.
Here at Clontarf.
Well done.
And
well done.
If anything, it's just to have the warm weather season countrywide. But the sun is shining, and the teams both full of expectancy, of course, with the ICC Men's T20 World Cup just around the corner. But Pakistan come here for these 3 matches in this Floki Trophy. And of course, they play England in 3 T20 internationals as well. And for Ireland, it's ideal preparation against one of the great sides in the world. Well, the team's lining up now as we get ready for the anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please remain upstanding for Ireland's call. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Clontarf Cricket Club and enjoy the cricket.
Set here at Clontarf Cricket Club. It's a beautiful setting. Club ground, which has staged a number of big matches in its past, but this, I would venture to say, is one of the community here in Dublin. Pakistan arrived for the first of 3 T20 internationals, and we're going to see Pakistan batting first because Paul Stirling, the Ireland captain, won the toss and decided to bowl first. Faisal Shah is alongside me. Faisal, we're looking at this Pakistan side with Babar Azam and Saim Ayub. Mohammad Rizwan is back. There's a lot of batting in this team.
There is indeed. Very warm welcome to you, Alan, and welcome to all. Good, really beautiful day. But look at Pakistan's batting lineup. Their problem is in the middle of the order. The top order is pretty good, but again, the approach with which the top order wants to go, that will have to be seen building up to the World Cup. They had an issue against New Zealand just recently where Saim Ayub just couldn't get going, and you'll have to keep an eye on this youngster as well. He's very talented, but so far internationally he hasn't fulfilled his potential just yet, but he's been persisted with for now at least.
So Pakistan having been put into bat. We're going to see Babar Azam and Saim Ayub opening. Mohammad Rizwan, Fakhar Zaman, Shadab Khan listed to come in at 5. Azam Khan, Iftikhar Ahmed, Imad Wasim at 8, Shaheen Shah Afridi at 9, Nasim Shah at 10, and Abbas Afridi at 11. This is a very well balanced side, Faisal.
It is indeed, and that batting lineup is pretty long as well. Abbas listed at 11 is a decent bat. But in the spin department has been reinforced with Imad Wasim's return. Although they haven't picked Abrar for this game, the mystery spinner, but still very formidable with Shadab Khan back, and we'll hope to see him with the ball as well, who hasn't regularly bowled just recently against New Zealand.
So opening with the new ball from the Hughes end of the ground. I'm told it's called the Hughes end because there was a former groundsman here by the name of Hughes, and he was around for many, many years, and by respect they're calling that end of the ground the Hughes end. I must say as well, it's very short. It's only a hit of about 54 yards. So that will certainly be in the sights of Saim Ayub, who's one of the crispest, cleanest, most clinical hitters in the game. And it's going to be Mark Adair. There's a slight slope which will help Mark Adair running down this slope. Starting with 2 slips and a gully, which is extraordinary. We are talking T20 cricket here, and we've got a problem. Straight away there's a problem because I just feel that there's something in the eye line of the batter, or maybe that's the sight screen that's not quite lined up properly. But anyway, the pitch itself, Faisal, I'm not sure if you had a look at it. It looks a bit tufty grass. I'm feeling it could spin, this pitch.
It could, and the word was, when we were out there, the word was that it may do initially something as well with the new ball. And then, like you said, because of the tacky nature of the grass and early season, although it looks dry on top, but it looks like that it may help spinners. Sun was out yesterday and sun has been out all day today.
Yes, I got to say that to those of you tuning in and happy to see cricket being played, it has been a wretchedly damp start to the cricket season in this part of the world, in Northern Europe. But the sun is shining here. This is all a bit frustrating because we should have had at least 3 deliveries by now, but there seems to be a problem with the sight screen area. I'm trying to identify what it is. In the meantime, let me just give you the Ireland side as well. We've given you the Pakistan side. Ireland with Paul Stirling, the captain, in no batting order here, but it is Paul Stirling with Mark Adair and Ross Adair. He bowls, in fact, he's at the substitute. Andy Balbirnie and Curtis Camphor. Gareth Delaney will bowl his leg spin. George the right-hander, he'll swing it away from the right. Bowled. That is magnificent bowling. End of the over, the first. 3 for no wicket.
I can Just tilt it, maybe it will be better now. From Markader. Good movement in that first over. That was expected, and good tactics from Sterling as well, getting the 2 slips in. Quick hits are the key no matter which format you're playing, and if you get a few early ones, you can really peg. In team like Pakistan, they really are front runners. Once they get ahead in the game, they like to stay ahead, but once you pull them back or get them under pressure, they feel it. Sometimes you feel like more than the other teams.
This is Barry McCarthy. That's been picked up on length. Hasn't quite middled this Saim Ayub, but he will get 4. He picked up the early length. It was just marginally short. Not that short, but beautifully played.
If for a moment you felt like he was cramped for space, he didn't have that full flourish, but then those fast hands getting him out of trouble, and although it didn't come off the middle of the bat, but still had enough legs. Saim Ayub likes to play those strokes, and he's the aggressor.
Yeah, he is, and there was a touch of the Fakhar Zaman in the way he played that. I remember seeing Saim Ayub in Rawalpindi season before last in the PSL, and he tore into bowlers with big reputations, and he carved them about. And
Yeah, indeed, and fortunate enough to see his rise through domestic cricket at National T20 a couple of years ago, which brought him to prominence. He was playing those strokes against the likes of Ahsanullah, who's bowling at 150 clicks. Really put him in the fray, and then he got his opportunity in the PSL, and he hasn't looked back since.
bowled, good full length. As a bowler, you've got to back yourself, you've got to be brave, and sometimes even if you've got a natural aggressor like Saim Ayub, sometimes you've got to tempt him into the shot as well. Bowling a full length like that from Barry McCarthy is going to tempt.
Worth a chance at this stage with a slightly new ball, and there's a little bit around in the air for the bowlers as well. Good bit of breeze as well. That will be helping McCarthy to take the ball away from Saim Ayub.
Bowled.
Yeah, but you can see from Simon's intent, this is his job. He just puts the previous ball out of his system. Big play and a miss, but next delivery he was going for the big shot again.
Well, when you've got Babar Azam and Fakhar Zaman, you've got two very different players coming in at 3 and 4. Even put Shadab up there. Right, little change in the field here now. So a fine leg goes back. Third man comes up inside the circle. Still with a slip though. Paul Stirling, the skipper, at slip. Oh, hooray, he might be out. He might be gone. Rizwan, is he short of his ground? Now the umpire's asked to see this, for the third umpire to have a look.
It's a big mix-up. Saim responded. Saim just said no, and Rizwan had no time. It felt like it. The way Ireland are celebrating, they look very, very confident, and direct hits are always very, very tricky for the batters. It's a close shave for Rizwan.
Well, you see, the one thing from Rizwan's point of view here, Faisal, is that he's quick. So he's quick out of the blocks, but how quick was he getting back?
Sometimes that he was too quick on that occasion because he got himself too far.
Ooh, this is close.
And even though he's very nimble and his turn was quick, the dive was full stretch.
I think he's gone. I think he's gone. Yeah, Rizwan. Mohamed Rizwan is walking back. That's an early strike for Ireland. Mohamed Rizwan is run out. It's 7-1. Well, Saim Ayub came herring out looking for the single. Harry Tector was the fielder, and he's a magnificent fielder.
Yeah, to beat Rizwan, who's so quick. This was terrific work from Harry Tector, and a big breakthrough for Ireland.
Babar Azam, the new bat. Oh, goodness me, that's gone past slip for 4. Ireland, this is a great start by the home side. End of 2 overs, it's 11-1.
Saim Ayub played 2 strokes, a play and a miss, and a big heave on the onside, and both those strokes prompted the field, although he couldn't connect it, but that would have gone straight to second slip.
Yeah, it's a dilemma, isn't it? The captain keeps 2 slips, or does he pull one away?
But the thing is, he hadn't connected anything. His just intent was enough to brought about that change, and Sterling, probably his instinct was that Saim is going big, so we need more protection. But doing so, you could say there was a potential opportunity for a wicket there. Saim got lucky there, but probably most of the crowd would want to see this side. Babar Azam, he's on strike, challenging couple of overs from Ireland to begin with.
Still 2 slips for the new bat. Beautiful. How good is that? Just an exquisite touch through that straight mid-wicket, and it's gone for 4. Babar Azam with a touch of class.
It's just pure magic from Babar Azam. Was a sublime, just flick of the wrist. You hardly seem to have hit it, and it just raced across this out. Shot was just top class.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? You just pay the admission fee to see that shot alone.
Any day.
Ambitious. Well, of course, Pakistan have just come from a series at home against New Zealand. Clearly not a first-choice New Zealand side, because their players are all over the world. Pakistan won the series, but not without a scare.
They ended up 2-2, Alan, and they were really looking down the barrel in the last game. And New Zealand lost that game by 9 runs, rather.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have won the series 3-1. That would have been a shock.
Bowled again. I'm intrigued with this. I'm intrigued with this field setting that we've got. Paul Sterling, always an aggressive cricketer, aggressive with the bat, also aggressive with his captaincy. He's kept 2 slips, and he's got one of the premier batters in the world here in Babar Azam. So he fancies getting an early strike. They've removed Rizwan. Run out. Harry Tector, the fielder. Bowled. High-class bowling this from Mark Adair.
You could feel that tentativeness in Babar. He almost got squared on. There is something happening from the pitch, and you have to say that the bowling has been superb from Mark Adair. He's hitting the right areas, putting pressure on Babar. And talking about Sterling, I mean, this is excellent from him. If you allow Babar to play, you know that he's going to make you punish. The best time to get him out is right now.
Fielded.
This is an extraordinary stroke from Babar.
Well, the sun has finally arrived in this part of the world. Forecast is good for the first and the second of these matches. Doesn't look so promising for the third, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed. Everything crossed.
Everything crossed. What a day today, though.
You see how he looks to shape that towards that leg side, Saim Ayub. He likes that shot.
He does, but when he's at his best, he likes to play a little straight towards mid-wicket. 3 gone, 16 for 1. Just cannot see the thing.
That should be here. Just a reminder that Pakistan losing the toss. Babar Azam and Paul Stirling, the two captains. Paul Stirling won the toss and said Ireland will bowl first. And right now that decision is vindicated. The ball has beaten the bat a number of times. Great looking shot.
It's an absolute pleasure to watch Babar whenever he plays, wherever he plays. The kind of conditions are at the moment, probably Pakistan would require Babar to be at his best. There's a little bit happening off the pitch. The bowling has been good. First game of the tour as a captain, really wants to set the example.
Barry McCarthy, the bowler from the City end. Fine leg is up. It's Ben White, the leg spinner. 2 leg spinners in this Ireland side. Ben White and Gareth Delaney. He's got to be careful here. Barry McCarthy can't stray into that leg side, not when you've got your fine leg up and you've got 2 slips.
It's a deep square leg as well, just right on square.
Shot, magnificent shot from Babar Azam. Just one gentle stride down the pitch. He almost preempted the length of the delivery from McCarthy.
Yeah, how good was that? The ball is jagging around and Babar just shimmy down the wicket, hitting it on the up. It was not a half volley. He lined it up beautifully, and although it's not the usual caress from Babar, but he kept his shape so beautifully.
Yes, he did. That was the key factor there.
Too high, felt like it immediately. But once again, good comeback there from McCarthy. Testing Babar with that back of a length. And you explained the wicket very nicely earlier on. It's exactly the same. The ball is not coming on at this stage. If you ball it just a bit back of a length, that tacky nature of the grass that you were talking about. ball is not kind of skidding through, so you have to be very precise with your stroke play.
There's a lot of tufty grass on this pitch, which I think the slower bowlers might enjoy. Bowled. Lorcan Tucker is the Ireland keeper. He's got Paul Stirling alongside him. Just the one slip in there now, but this is attacking captaincy from Ireland's captain, keeping himself at slip. Ireland won the toss, bowling first.
And that aggressive nature of Stirling, which we see him when he bats, is really showing in his captaincy. I always feel like that's the best way to go, even in 2020 cricket.
Down the leg side, it's a wide.
Did you ever try doing that?
Oh, all the time, all the time.
Save the leg stump wide.
Yeah.
But how good was the appeal? Everyone went up in unison.
Well, you've got to. You've got to, because sometimes you might. Last ball of the 4th over coming up here from Barry McCarthy. Bowled. Full length. Barber can't put it away. 4 gone. It's 21 for 1.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can't make out anything from here.
Craig Young wearing 44, another one of the medium pace bowlers for Ireland who can move the ball. Swing bowler, seam bowler on his day. It's not where you should be looking to bowl to Siam.
You're very risky as well, and this time just prepared to wait for the ball. He's been going hard at the ball, and he realized that the wicket wasn't doing that for him, so he just waited and played it late.
It's Curtis Camphor there wearing 85, the Johannesburg-born South African. Very decent all-rounder, bowls brisk medium pace, and is a very handy, aggressive batsman. Barber on strike. Looking square of the wicket. Well, I was speaking to Barber at the toss then. I said, how long have you been here? He said, just 2 days. We've had one practice session. He said, we've had a nice lazy day in the hotel, but he said, we're looking forward to this series. And the beauty of this series, Faisal, is that you've got match, rest day, match, rest day, match. So it's quite a condensed series.
Yeah, generally these players, when they play T20 series, sometimes they play back-to-back, and this is the way the series is scheduled. These players will like it because, like I said, they're building up to that World Cup. This is the start of their tour, so they want to just go here. And I mean, Ireland have been very good at home, but Pakistan at full strength would think that they can use this opportunity to build towards that World Cup, just fine-tune all those combinations. So the camp was pretty relaxed. But the conditions certainly are not what they're used to or what they were playing against New Zealand back home just a week or so ago. Pakistan traditionally tour these shores pretty well. Ireland, England, I mean, of all the overseas tours, if you compare Australia, New Zealand, England, Pakistan, have always done well in these shores.
Well, over the years, you've had some pretty handy bowlers bowling here. Wasim Akram, Waqar Younis, Aqib Javed, round the wicket.
Yeah, and not to forget the wrist spin of Mushtaq and Saqlan Mushtaq. They all in that era where Pakistan used to dominate here. The batting has always been just to do enough for these bowlers. I mean, never really dominated, but they used to do the job just enough for these bowlers. And I mean, what great, wonderful names you just mentioned.
Not half. Picked up on length. Man out there, straight over his head. It's a big six.
That is really the first one that he's got out of the middle, and it sailed away, probably the longest boundary. 29 for 1 after 5, Pakistan.
So 29 for 1, Pakistan put into bat. Ireland are enjoying this with the ball. Oh, that's, again, it's Babar Azam looking leg side. Babar Azam 10 from 15 balls, so he's not really in the swing yet. Curtis Camphor is the new bowler. He said he's a little medium pacer. He'll nag away, generally trying to bowl it fairly straight. Short mid-wicket, and that's 4 for Babar Azam.
It's another of Babar Azam's trademark strokes, that front foot pull. He doesn't really go back and across for these pull strokes. Picks up the length so quickly. You see, it went way in front of square. Just came right out of the screws as well. It sounded absolutely beautiful. That just clearing that front foot, but the weight was still coming on into the shot, and the thump was terrific.
Short.
There's been a lot of talk about Babar Azam moving into the next gear in terms of his strike rate, and you could see that there is a conscious effort today. Some of these strokes, especially not the boundary, but before the boundary ball, those are not Babar Azam strokes, but he's trying to bring them on into his repertoire. He's to force the issue inside the power play.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Certainly he's always had a full repertoire of strokes. It's just that he's been such a classical player. Bowled. That's really well bowled by Curtis Camphor, pitching it up to the Pakistan captain.
A little analysis, if you want to see of the game so far, that everything that's been shot has gone for runs. Fuller length, that 6 to 8 meter length, it's been very difficult. And batters have tried. It's not, I mean, if you see the intent is there, but the outcome is very little from that length.
Looking that leg side again. 2 men back on that leg side boundary.
Yeah. Babar dragging it, and Sterling realizes what Babar wants to do, so he's put the 2 fielders out. The challenge would be even great for Camphor against Saim Ayub, because he's had his eye in. Absolutely smashed a 6 towards the back end of the last over. Coming towards the end of the power play, just 1 delivery to go. 34 for 1 is the outcome so far. You'd say there was more effort than that, but the outcome is just 36. Oh, beautifully played. How gorgeous is that? Playing it late and just using the pace. Not a bad delivery at all, but beautifully put away by Saim. Power play done and dusted. Pakistan 38 for 1.
You'll find that
And he's carved away immediately. An attempted diving stop. That's Gareth Delaney out at deep cover, but can't get anything on it. And after a conservative power play for Pakistan, maybe the shackles now, with the fielding restrictions loosening, will begin to loosen. As I wish a very good afternoon to Isabel Joyce.
Well, came out of the middle. The placement was good. Carved away, just the width offered, and Gareth Delaney came in attacking the ball and didn't cut it off well. Good comeback from Craig Young.
Izzy, great to be with you, and what a historic series. It's remarkable to think of the shared history, the shared cricketing history between Ireland and Pakistan, and that this is actually the first T20I series between the two teams.
Yeah, incredible. I when I was thinking about Pakistan coming here, I was thinking, yeah, they come here all the time, but we've seen them in ODIs, seen them in the Test match when they came and played here, but T20Is, and just interesting to hear from Faisal earlier his thoughts on that famous victory that Ireland had over Pakistan in the World Cup. Good running between the wickets, good quick single taken. And I think if you zoom out, if you're a Pakistan supporter and you zoom out on that loss, it doesn't seem probably as devastating as it did at the time because of how Ireland have come on since then, and they're part of that history, which in some ways can be something they can be proud of, because they were the first ones who Ireland turned over at the beginning of that journey. So I think the zoom out is really interesting from a Pakistan.
Yeah, there is such a great and a very rich shared cricketing history. It's not just at the senior level, it's certainly within the Irish club game, the domestic scene too. But Ireland have started brightly, and that doesn't surprise me at all. I thought in phases in the UAE, was there in that Afghanistan tour, they were outstanding, and they're really starting to show their potential under that change of captaincy in the white ball stuff under Paul Stirling. He seems to really have galvanised Ireland. Yeah,
and Andrew Balbirnie was a brilliant captain of this team in all formats for a long time, but that takes its toll on your own performance, and sometimes a change is as good as anything. So for both of them, I think it's actually been a good change for Stirling coming in and becoming a leader. A good lift there for Craig Young, but for Andrew Balbirnie, having that freedom now, not having to do all of the extras that a captain of a cricket team in particular has to do. So one thing that's very clearly different between the two teams, Ireland's such a settled team, Pakistan still looking to try and figure out what their best team is. So maybe that's something that's in Ireland's favour, is that the players feel a little bit more comfortable and assured in their spots.
Short ball this time, helped around the corner, and it's going to be helped away very nicely. Won't quite go all the way, but it will be 4 more. 2 boundaries in the over from Young gets us to the end of the 7th. It's 48 for 1. So the run rate just under 7 per over. Pakistan will want a lot more than the 140 that would get them to. You would imagine up north of 160, even though it's still early in the summer here, and the summer has arrived really. It's a sold-out crowd. It's a fantastic Friday, and it's a bit of a festival feel. Great atmosphere building up, Izzy.
Yeah, leading into the weekend. Good sunny weekend in Dublin. What could be better? Ben White's going to come on now. Bowling from the end with its longer straight, very short straight from the other end, so no surprise to see him coming on this end. The danger will be when he's bowling to the right-hander. Immediately on the attack from Saeem Ayub. Chance in the deep, but just has the legs to get over Harry Tector there in the deep. Didn't get all of it, but it's going with the wind. He makes use of the conditions for a maximum first ball of White's over.
Yeah, I think it was the googly. You'll see Ben White bowl a lot of these to the left-handers. So he's going to try and get the ball turning away, but it ends up just into the hitting arc. The line not correct from White, and might not quite have been out of the middle, but it had
much better length. That it was too full on that delivery. It was almost too full to sweep. Actually, he did really well to get underneath that one, Ayub, but pulls the length right back. Long off, long on, cover, deep mid-wicket and square, all out in the boundary. That's that floated one again. Sends it forward of Harry Tector in the deep, does well. And good fielding in pairs as he passes that one off to Mark Adair. Looks like a matchup that Saeem has been looking for. Looking forward to the leg spinner coming on.
Certainly it's always something leg spinners they tend not to like. They tend not liking to bowl to someone where they have to turn their stock delivery in. As a consequence, you'll see a lot from White out of the back of the hand. Paul Sterling just motioning to the man out at long off. I think he might just want him just a little wider. Maybe that's indicating a bowling change as well. Curtis Camphor was into the attack early, so Sterling veering away from the 5-bowler policy. That's good bowling, much better line that time. That's where White needs to be to Ayub.
But just pulled it back a little bit in terms of pace as well. So good brave delivery considering that maximum in the first delivery of his over. Not surprising to see him fire it in early on the over. Just trying to get into the spell, Ben White. He's going to bowl his final and delivery to Azam.
He'll just be looking to get out of his over here. Isabel, 9 from his first 5. And that's what he does as Sterling pulls off a very good stop. So it'll be 10 from White's first, gets us to the end of the 8th. 58 for 1. Isabel, a good platform here for Pakistan. Where are they thinking from here? They certainly want north of that 160, you'd imagine. I
think 180, 190 will be what they're looking for. I think the problem for Ireland is that they don't have the express pace that we'll see from Pakistan later. So that means that you've got a much smaller chance for variation. And from this end, you can't afford to get too full. Curtis Camphor has to be very careful with his length because boundary straight is about 54 from the middle of the pitch, which is incredibly short. So you have to be careful. We'll be eyeing up mid-off. Mid-off is inside the ring.
This time help towards the protection. Harry Tector, the man doing the fielding. Yeah, remarkable to think this is one of 4 one-day international grounds with ODI status here in Ireland. Now we're in the T20I format. There's only been 3 T20Is here, one in that qualifier all the way back in 2015, that was Afghanistan, Oman, and then 2 in the Ireland-Zimbabwe series back in 2021. They were in fact the last internationals here at Clontarf. It's a beautiful venue, it's a picturesque one. There's been a lot of work done on the square in recent times, and hopefully something that we'll see back to the international circuit a bit.
Well, definitely eyeing up that straight boundary, but just hits high up on the bat. Well, this is a ground that you can't put a huge number of stands up, so it just depends on how many stands you're going to put up, which grounds you go for. We've seen a lot of games down here in Malahide, which have a lot more capacity in those terms. But Clontarf, one of the best places to play. Such a beautiful area as well.
Slapped away, and you can hear from the roars, plenty of Pakistan fans in the crowd. This is who they've come to watch. It's Babar Azam. In this format, in any format, he's one of the best in the world. And that's a beautiful stroke for 4.
Yeah, up and over the point fielder here. Far too wide from Curtis Camphor. He's worrying too much about those straight boundaries into the pitch. Doesn't even have to move, as Gareth Delaney had no chance of cutting that one off from cover. An easy 4 runs.
This time he goes fuller and gets away with the protection out there. Mark Adair, probably Ireland's, well, alongside Harry Tector, one of their best fielders. The Irish side, it's so settled. We were talking in the pre-matches. We could almost have named you the 11 coming to the ground today, barring something crazy occurring. No Josh Little for now. We'll see him at the World Cup in due course. But that settled nature to the team, it's got lots of benefits. It means that they really know what they're doing, not just for this series, the tri-series that follows, and then the World Cup after that. Camphor pulls out this time. Do you see anyone bolting into this team, or are Neil Rock and Ross Adair and Graham Hume going to have to get used to carrying drinks?
Well, I really think that they're there in case of injury at the moment. I mean, that could change if someone has a poor run of form. As you said, there's 7 matches coming in. If you go 7 matches without performing, then, you know, you have to change. You possibly feel like you have to change things up. Just missing with the angle. Looking to hit that for 12, it looked like Saim Ayu, so misses out. But it depends on the personalities you have in your team, whether that works for you or not. And this group, it feels like no one's happy to rest in their laurels. They want to be the one that wins the match for the team, and that's a really good way to look at it as a team, because you don't want to be waiting for Paul Stirling to do it every single game, or Harry Tector.
Yeah, it feels to me like they really know their roles and their game plans at the moment. That time down the leg side, and oh, so nearly something very special. We'll get a look at that after the ad break. Hopefully it was Barry McCarthy. He's never far away from the action. 9 have been bowled. It's 66 for 1. Well, into the 10th over, and the final ball of the previous, Barry McCarthy, we think, very nearly pulled off something quite incredible. Take a look at this.
It was a case of trying to cash in on a poor delivery and almost throwing your wicket away, because he was eyeing up a 6 down at fine leg. Did not get much of it at all. And Barry McCarthy, well, he saw what the rest of us didn't, which was that it was coming towards him. Almost definitely saved 3 runs, but could have taken a fantastic catch. So look, not going the way of Ireland there.
Might actually be disappointed not to have hung on in the end. Delaney into the attack now. One leg spinner replaces the other, and that is brilliant from Paul Stirling. For a sturdy man, he moves very fleet of foot, and that is marvellous work. Maybe 4 runs saved.
He's somebody who you have to be aware of, because you might assume that he wouldn't be as agile in the field, but he's one of Ireland's best fielders in the ring. He just anticipates so well. That's why he's so good, because he takes his knowledge from batting into his fielding and reads the batters, where they're going to hit it, which side they're going to aim for, and he's moving before it's even hit. Such a good attribute as a fielder.
Tossed up and helped away. A lot of work for long off to do. I think it's Curtis Camphor out there who does it well, keeps it to just a couple. The stories the last 4 or 5 years, isn't it? Gareth Delaney probably came into the team as a batter who bowled occasionally. It might be the inverse now. He's a bowler who kind of bats in various roles for Ireland. Ben White has had probably the best 12 months he's had in Irish colours, and then we saw on the Wolves tour recently. we saw Gavin Hoey come into his own, an Irish side playing 3 leg spinners in a starting 11. I couldn't believe it. It was manna from heaven for me. They're all very different as well.
Yeah, Gavin Hoey, I think, is going to be a little bit like Gareth Delaney, where he's actually such a good batsman, but he might change his role depending on what's going well at the time. So growing up, he was definitely much more of a batter that bowled some seam, and then he turned to leg spin, which I'm sure his dad was, being he was a brilliant leg spinner, was delighted about.
And that's what Delaney does. You might look at that delivery, think it's a drag down, think it's a bit of a long hop, but he's trying to bowl it very flat, bowl it into the surface. Azam in particular, he's struggling to get his strike rate moving here.
Delaney's taller than he looks when you meet him. He's a tall man. He bowls from a tall height as well in his action. So when he bowls those shorter ones, it can surprise you. It comes on to you a little bit more quickly than you think. So definitely into the pitch leg spin bowler. And it's when he floats it like that things go wrong, because too easy to take him straight down the ground with the pace on the ball. So disappointing finish for Gareth Delaney as that one goes for 6. Goes for 10 in the over. After 10, it's 76 for 1. San Rizwan just one, but Ayub and Azam getting into their work now at the halfway point. Ayub at 41 scoring with a little bit more ease, Azam at 32, so there's 70.
And now we're going to see the 2 leg spinners bowl in tandem together. White will have a change of ends in for his second over. And this one, it's gone a long, long way. Harry Tector can only watch it sail over his head. It feels as though the accelerator is just being pressed in the case of 2 deliveries. Back-to-back maximums, one off Delaney. This second off White gets Babar Azam going.
Far too full, right into the swinging arc there as well, in at leg stump. And look at the speed of those wrists. That's why it's gone so far. The acceleration through the ball on the point of contact, and Harry Tector didn't even put the hands up.
One of the significant challenges you'll have as a spinner bowling from the 2 different ends here, it's not just the wind that's swirling around. We're not far from the coast here, the Irish Sea, but also there's quite a significant slope. So from this end, Ben White is bowling quite a way downhill, whereas from his first over, he's bowling quite a way uphill. He hasn't adjusted to that, and immediately a player of Babar Azam's class is not going to allow you even 1 ball to spare. Smashes it away for 6 to get his strike rate up towards the 120s. How good a player is he? He's in the top 5 run scorers in the history of the T20I game. He's as good as there is, maybe across all 3 formats.
Well, I think you can almost tell from the reaction of the Pakistan fans when he hits it. They just love him so much, and they love him because of the way that he can play across the 3 formats, as you said. He is really classical to watch, but he manages to bring that into T20 cricket and still be a mainstay in this Pakistan team. Really important cog. A disappointment for Ben White, a 6 from the first delivery from both of his overs so far, which smacks a little bit of a loosener at the beginning of the over. It just tends to float it up. Those 2 deliveries much fuller than his next 5.
And the low full toss is helped away, and helped away with real class. There's a bit of style from Babar there. Babarlicious, that one. It's 4 to get him into the 40s.
Just eases this one past extra cover. Doesn't try and overhit it. All about the placement here. Much too wide with the field that he's set in place. And the frustration of Azam there as he feels he's missed out to hit that straight to point. There's a couple of balls now that have gone for dots into that area. There's a short third and point blocking it up.
That's a better length for me for White, and also felt like a better pace. Sometimes, particularly with the nerves of an occasion like this, bowling to one of the very best in the world, you can just kind of jar it in a bit too quickly as a leg spinner. All 3 of those leg spinners I was talking to you about, Izzy, they all came back from that tour of Nepal. They all, I think, enhanced their reputation. Delaney in particular, his batting was shining again. We saw a couple of very good innings against Afghanistan in Sharjah. It's going to be fascinating to see where he's used. Are Ireland going to vary up their order? Could we see Delaney back up at number 3? This time, Mark Adair can't cut it To the end of the 11th. It's 91 for 1. Well, it feels like a launching platform here for Pakistan. Isabel Joyce, you spoke about 180, 190. Could even be north of that if these two are still there in 40, 45 minutes' time.
Anything's possible. These two are still there. We were talking about Gareth Delaney and his performances in Nepal. I think when he's in form, Ireland have a much better chance of getting imposing totals, because him coming in, he can score at 200, 250 strike rate. If only for 8 or 10 balls, but that kind of innings where you face 10 deliveries but can hit 25, 30 even, is so important and so valuable in a T20 innings, because it enables your top order maybe to take 2 or 3 balls more than they would if they know that they have. You have your Paul Sterling and your Andrew Balbirnie not feeling like they have to attack quite as quickly, which seems quite a small margin, but it's bigger than you think.
Work to do with the ball here. Has he found a first wicket? Camphor out there. Yes, he has. Might not have looked like the best delivery, but perfectly effective. Ireland desperately needed to break that partnership. And it's Delaney with his wrist spin that provides the breakthrough. It ends a fine effort for the second wicket. Ayub holds out to Camphor at long off.
Just not the respect given to the delivery that was required. Definitely not the best delivery that Gareth Delaney has bowled or will bowl in his career, but Saeem Ayub didn't get into a very good position and then opted to go over long off, which is one of the more difficult places to hit off the back foot. So Ayub goes for 45 off 29 deliveries, and now Pakistan 92 for 2. So not really there, didn't get close enough to the ball, and that's why it didn't reach the boundary. Curtis Camphor taking a good catch in the deep.
So the end for Saeem Ayub, he batted nicely, 45 off 29 for him. Babar Azam is still there. And he will be joined by Fakhar Zaman, who comes in at number 4. Obviously played a lot of his cricket up at the top of the order, but this is something Faisal Shah was telling us about in the pre-game show. It's the somewhat almost trying to stack the order, mixing up the Babar and Rizwans alongside some power hitters. Much like the Irish order, there's plenty of ways you could stack the Pakistan order. So Fakhar Zaman will have work to do at number 4. Going to be another left-hander to the crease. Delaney, very different wrist spinner to White. Neither seems to have nailed down the number 1 leg spinner slot just yet.
No, not quite, but I am delighted to see that Ben White has been given a really long run. I think that too often leg spinners can be in and out of the team. You really have to give them a good run, even if they get taken down a few times. The only way, as a leg spinner in particular, that you can improve is by playing against the top teams, measuring yourself against them, and then figuring out what needs to improve. So that was something that I feel like Ireland could have done sooner with Ben White, but he's getting the opportunity now.
Ooh, I tell you, this is skillful bowling. He started very straight to Zaman, dot, dot, then he goes wider, builds up a third dot. All of a sudden, I know it's only 3 balls, but T20 cricket is quick and the pressure builds on Pakistan's number 4. Well, an excellent over. It's 4 dots that follow up the wicket, just 1 comes from it. Ireland fight back into the contest, 92 for 2. Now, Paul Stirling had a decision to make. Ben White has been treated a little bit harshly, so he's going to go back to his utility option. Curtis Camphor was actually used in the first power play, in that first 6 overs. Into the second power play here now. Camphor has that protection and he'll bowl his 3rd over. Leading edge towards the left of Craig Young, who's not going to be able to get there. I think some of the fielders had looked to the leg side, but it skewed out to the off. Nearly a chance.
Yeah, big edge on that bat. Absolutely nowhere near any of the fielders, unfortunately. When it comes to those leading edges, it's all about luck, whether it goes to hand or not. Ireland not having the luck on that occasion.
Just going to be a single. All 3 men in front of square in the leg side. They're all in the deep. In fact, fine legs out as well. All 4 fielders in the leg side in the deep. Curtis Camphor, George Dockrell, Harry Tector, even the captain Paul Stirling. They all offer bowling options, but in recent times Ireland have felt almost aggrieved to go to any of their all-rounders at any point. What's your feelings been on that?
Well, I think it's one of those where they'd need to find a matchup that works. I'm not sure for the two off spinners whether bowling at this point against this pair, especially Babar Azam, would be a good option. So that it could be that. But Curtis Camphor seems to struggle a little bit against left-handers as well. So I would like Paul Stirling to try it out in these 7 games. Now is where you get to figure it out, because you don't want to have to turn to one of them in the World Cup.
What about Harry Tector? We saw him bowl an awful lot in the Bangladesh Premier League, have some success when he's been used in this format against Zimbabwe in those 2 white ball series that Ireland have played over the last 18 months down in Harare, but wasn't used at all really. I think maybe 1 over it was in the tour of the UAE. Is he someone that you feel is under-bowled as Tector almost creates a run-out opportunity, swooping in quickly at extra cover?
Yeah, I definitely think that if I was captain, I would be bowling Harry Tector. Right arm around the wicket is how I'd see him bowling. The other thing about bowling around the wicket is you can do just what we saw Gareth Delaney doing there when he was bowling to Zaman, which is just slide it across, almost play with the wide line, make it a little bit more difficult for the batters to get power into the leg side and almost set a negative field and invite them to try something different. So all these things are something you want to know you can turn to. So possibly bringing those options in this game and on Sunday and Tuesday could be a good idea.
Short ball pulled away. Has he split them perfectly? Not quite. They're going to dash back for a second. It'll get Azam to just about 1 shy of 50. Starting to accelerate. Good fielding in the deep, but good running too as Pakistan's captain is sprawled across the Clontarf turf.
Well, he turned there and then realised Harry Tector is very good at diving and getting straight to his feet. So he put the afterburners on and realised, I'm going to have to put the dive in here. He wasn't too happy about having to do that. But he's taken a rest and he's 1 away from his half century. Pakistan 1 away from the team century.
That will be a wide down the leg side. Camphor used for a 3rd. We may not see him for a 4th. Stirling doesn't need to use him for a 4th. White's already bowled 2.
Now I think that we'll see the frontline bowlers bowling the remainder. Adair, Young and McCarthy. That's 100 up now for Pakistan with that wide.
Well, there's the moment. It's going to be a 35th T20 I-50. Babar Azam is all class, whatever the format. He's the 3rd leading run scorer in the world in this format. He's the 2nd highest 50 maker in the world. There's only 1 man past him, a certain Virat Kohli.
Well, there's a reason why they're chanting his name. 50 from 39 for Azam. He's done it at a canter. He's in this form come World Cup time. Pakistan will be very happy. Is someone around whom you can really build an innings.
Looks for some innovation. And that might be the biggest roar of the day. It feels maybe as much like Lahore or Karachi as Dublin right now, as it'll be a boundary to round out the 13th. It's 105 for 2. the run rate goes above 8 runs per over, really, for the first time consistently in the innings as Zaman gets going. A bit of fond farewell to Isabel Joyce, and a very warm welcome now to Alan Wilkins. Wilco, great to see you, my friend. Firstly, marvellous occasion for Irish cricket, the first T20I series between these two sides.
Yeah, it is. And I think it started in very positive fashion for Ireland. Paul Stirling winning the toss, bowling first. He felt that some of his seamers could get 1 or 2 out early. They bowled well at the top. And how often have you seen the 2 slips in a gully to open an international T20? But since then, got to say that Pakistan are going to be looking at a 180, 190 total here. They're going to have to go. Ben White. He's capable of taking wickets, but he can be expensive.
He can, look, and he's a young wrist spinner. He's still learning. I've really liked the way he's gone about things recently. I think he's learning every single game he plays. I thought in periods in Kathmandu on that Wolves tour he was exceptional. He was player of the match in that big win for Ireland against a star-studded Afghanistan lineup in that first T20I in Sharjah. That was his first player of the match award. And you can see he's almost learning on the job, isn't he? Trying Zaman, and I love the way that Paul Stirling's shown confidence in him and being happy to go back to him.
Yeah, and you've got to, as a captain, you've got to show confidence in a young, slow bowler like Ben White. Down the pitch goes Babar Azam. And it's 4. I do like the way that Babar is just easily changes gear with his feet. It just comes down the pitch. Have a look at the footwork here from Babar Azam.
Yeah, you can almost feel him just going through the gears, can't you? Not a huge amount of turn on offer, and White almost didn't expect it. Not able to get sharply down to his left.
Makes a bit of room. That's why he opens up that offside. Should be 2 here.
We were just talking in the previous over with Isabel Joyce about the lack of camphor and Dockrell and Stirling being used. And that is going to get us to the end of the 14th. It's 1-1-3 for 2. Well, 6 overs remaining. Ireland go back to some of their frontline options. The 3 seamers who were, well, Wilco, I have to say, quite exceptional in that historic Test match victory against Afghanistan. Craig Young, Barry McCarthy, Mark Adair, who's the player of the match, all on their own ways. A different format now, yes, but a big role for the 3 to play at the death.
Well, I think these are the bowlers, these are the cricketers who, for Ireland, believe in their craft, believe in what they can do. And they've sustained Irish cricket for a number of years. Behind them, you have to ask what's there for Ireland. I'm not going to go too deeply into that, but at the moment, I think they're flying the flag proudly and well for Ireland. Craig Young, Babar Azam swings round, 2 men back there. What a great effort that was.
Barry McCarthy, it is again. The ball just follows him. Big Barry McCarthy. He'll feel that's almost a chance put down, but for me, I think it's 5 runs saved, isn't it? Zaman just lined him up, helped him round the corner, got a good piece of it. But look at McCarthy here. He's adjudged this so brilliantly, gets into the air and releases in time. And right in front of the packed home crowd, gets a big ovation too. Outstanding work.
Oh dear, was it superb.
Day for McCarthy to his 50th T20.
Alter your lengths, and you've got to alter the way you think in a way, because you know you're going to come in for punishment. as a bowler, I often say that you've got to be brave in what you deliver. You know that there could be some nasty treatment. You've got to take. You know, Babar Azam hasn't run away with this. 57 from 42, the Pakistan skipper. Coming in at 3, not opening.
Yeah, he opened in all those 4 completed T20s against New Zealand. 1 was washed out as well. We are just having a boundary check here. The TV umpire will want to make sure that McCarthy didn't go over the rope, but we don't. Or maybe, if you look at some of the scoring rates in the IPL this year, you might want to be a bit insane to be taking up a career as a bowler.
Who'd want to be a bowler? God. No, they're having a look at this. You're right. It's a fantastic piece of fielding. Barry McCarthy, he has leapt off the turf here. Is he in touch with the ball? No, I think he's all right. He's fine. It's just the one. You don't have to look at that again.
It's actually a clinic, isn't it, in terms of the technique of not just taking the ball, but then releasing it quickly before your natural impact to the body makes any contact. So 5 runs saved, exceptional.
Now up in the air it goes, takes the catch. He was always underneath it, steadied himself, and that's the end of Pakistan's captain.
Well, the scorecard is going to read Babar Azam bowled Craig Young, caught Mark Adair. This wicket for me, it belongs to Barry McCarthy. Without that boundary save, the wicket chance wouldn't have happened. Mark Adair is never dropping that. He's Ireland's safest pair of hands. Is the one to go for 57. Pakistan now 116 for 3.
Ireland's bowlers have done well because they've kept the Pakistan, this much vaunted Pakistan batting in check. Meanwhile, this is a man who can cause a serious amount of damage. Azam Khan, and I have seen him put away some of the best bowlers in the world in the PSL to all parts of Rawalpindi. And I love watching him bat. He's if he was a gearbox in a car, he goes from 1st to 5th in one movement. Oh, well bowled and well played. I don't mind seeing that.
Well, Craig Young says to Azam Khan, have a sniff of the white leather to welcome you in here to Ireland for the first time. Yeah, certainly this Irish side for me, it's just such a different beast under Paul Stirling. The way in which they've gone about their business, the aggression within his captaincy, the positivity within it. I think they're putting it right up to Pakistan in the series opener.
Gone, second ball, Azam Khan. That is a big blow for Ireland. Ben White takes the catch, never took his eyes off the ball, and that is a big scalp.
To fielding from McCarthy brought about the opportunity to get rid of the big one, the big fish of Babar Azam, and then Young freshened him up with the short one. And then not quite as short the second time. It looked like Azam Khan wasn't quite expecting it to come on in the manner in which it did, and all he could do was pick out Ben White down at deep fine. All of a sudden, this game, it's turned on its head. Ireland have 2 and 3 balls. Azam Khan's gone for a second ball duck. It's 1-1-6 for 4.
Four down, and Shadab Khan comes in. He's the leg spinner who years ago as a young leg spinner proved that he could bat with Islamabad United, and Dean Jones, the late Dean Jones, saw something in his batting that he said he had to bat up the order, and often for franchise teams and for Pakistan he gets good runs. It's the end of So a lot of responsibility now on Fakhar Zaman. 8 from 11. Barry McCarthy. He strays on that leg side, and he's been put away for 6. It's an area of strength for Fakhar Zaman. That's one of his go-to areas, that deep mid-wicket.
And this is the concern, isn't it, for McCarthy? It's the roll at the death that's the most difficult one. Adair will probably bowl 18 and 20. Tries a little off-cutter. The problem is it's right into the slot. And that is very, very friendly indeed for Zaman just to line up and really to get his innings going. He seemed to me to struggle in a big way, even though it was the leg spin turning into him of Gareth Delaney. He just wasn't sizing it up. Sterling probably would have been tempted to go one more with his spinners. Instead, he's turned to McCarthy, possibly an over earlier than he needed, and now he's under the pump, 6 from his first ball.
That's a wide. Him using those muscular arms, and his arc is it's anywhere from point on the offside to deep square on the leg side. He can carve you up, he can butcher you, but he does favour that leg side. He'll drag you round, as you saw with that 6. So what Barry McCarthy's got to try and do here, drill it into those feet. There, that's what you've got. And Shadab Khan is on the walk back. Shadab knows he's out.
Well, I'll tell you something. I think Barry McCarthy, who thinks he's the best footballer in this entire Ireland squad, has just shown everyone the Irish team are never going to hear the end of this if this is out. I'll tell you that much for nothing, because it looks like a bullseye. Ronaldo, Messi, whoever you want it, eat your heart out, because he's gone very swiftly across to his right. He's actually forced Khan to run a little wide. He's got the big right boot out, and it looks like he's buried it, well, right down the middle. No keeper home, but the middle stump's been knocked back. This could well be gone.
So they play football here at Clontarf?
It's actually rugby out the back, the Clontarf Rugby and Cricket Club, but certainly it's the youngies versus the oldies in the Irish setup, and I can assure you McCarthy in recent times he's matured to the oldies team. Likes to play up front for them. I think he might have considered himself scoring a winning goal here. You're going to find out in a moment. We might see the red light shining. It's very bright here in Clontarf, Wilco. We think it could be gone.
Yeah, I think Shadab knows as well.
There's the evidence, Wilco.
He's gone. Yeah, and Shadab knew it straight away. I think when we see that light on, it's going to be 5 down.
It's a red light that signals, and it gives us the score. 1, 2, 3.
Ireland have come back strongly here. Iftikhar Ahmed wearing 95, and he's again one of those destructive Pakistan top order bat, middle order if you like, but he comes in and he can change the complexion of a match in seconds. They need him, Pakistan.
Yeah, I don't think Iftikhar Ahmed's career strike rate 127 gives you any indication as to how devastating a player he can be, and this role is really the one he's tailor-made for. 4 to 6 overs remain. Try and drive Pakistan up to a defendable score. Anything shy of 160, 170, Ireland very much in this contest.
Yeah, very much, especially if Paul Stirling, the skipper, gets off to the kind of start that he wants. Short, pulled away. That is net bowling to Iftikhar. You can't bowl there to him.
Yeah, just a little bit friendly, wasn't it? Sat up for Iftikhar to get off the mark. They tend to be 3 varieties McCarthy will go to at the death in this second spell in a T20. He'll go to the block goal, he'll go to his leg cutter or his off cutter, his slower ball, or he will think he can get it up north of 140 and go to the bouncer. That wasn't anything like 140 plus, that just sat up to be hit, and the gap was very nicely picked to get Ahmed off the mark.
Now this will be saved this time. Craig Young, the fielder. And helped by Andy Balbirnie. It's just 2 runs saved. Every run, every ball is an event in T20 cricket. Every ball.
You're spot on, and even more so in the modern day, where the batters have worked out that their strike rate is almost more important than their average or their score. Just a one-off match. Pakistan were always going to take some adjusting coming in. Ireland are no slouches in this format. 5-6 years ago, they really battled in it. They hadn't worked it out. But with the evolution of Tucker and Tector, the brilliance of Sterling, I think this could be game on.
He's gone short again to Iftikhar. It's just the 1. It's end of the over. 129 for 5.
Here's the remaining options for Paul Sterling. 3 wicket takers thus far to go alongside the 2 runouts. 2 brilliant runouts they were as well. I suspect we'll see Craig Young bowling this one. So if it is Young that bowls his 4th and final, you'd imagine that will mean then that it will actually be Mark Adair to bowl overs 18 and 20, and then maybe Barry McCarthy to come back and bowl the very final one from this end over 19, as Sterling actually calculated this quite nicely.
Yeah. He's a good captain, isn't he? He's very, very experienced, Paul Sterling. Craig Young. Fakhar Zaman still the danger man. Well, both these players, both Iftikhar and Fakhar Zaman, even with 4 overs, create havoc with their unorthodox play. Fakhar Zaman is an unorthodox bat. You think sometimes you can bowl the best ball of your life to him and it'll disappear over deep mid-wicket. So all eyes now on the left-handed Fakhar Zaman. Can't take your eyes off him in the field. Got to keep watching him. Almost decapitated the umpire. Umpire was down quickly, and it's 4. That was hit like a shell past the umpire.
To Mark Hawthorne. Look at how quickly it's a move here. Watch the umpire, not the shot. Well, Craig Young is taking evasive action. So too's the man in pink. And doesn't he do well? I don't think it's exactly where Young intended it. He was trying to squeeze it into the block hole. Low full toss can be difficult to hit, but great wrist from Fakhar Zaman.
Well, I don't know if he's ever played a game of hockey, Fakhar Zaman, but I would think he'd be pretty handy if he did.
Also going to bring about a change in the field, Wilco. Paul Sterling over consulting with his bowler. Mark Adair came into the conversation. The Brains Trust comes together. And now we're going to see Balbirnie come up at long on. It's very short, straight from this end. Fine leg goes back. Going to be short.
Just picked it up. Picked it up again on that leg side. Hasn't timed it at all.
Well, for me, Wilco, this game, it hangs in the balance. It really does. Right here, Ireland, they have the winning of the game with a good finish and a restriction of Pakistan to less than 165. But if Pakistan get away, and these two, they could easily get away, they could still drive it up towards 180. And 180 would be much more like what I think Pakistan would like to be a winning target, like to give their much vaunted pace attack to defend. The wicket in general has played pretty well.
Yeah, it has. Good change of pace. Iftikhar was quickly onto it.
It's a good spot, Wilco. I think he's driven that into the surface. Something Paul Sterling said yesterday in the press conference, the pre-series press conference, Alan, was that Ireland haven't played a lot of cricket here in recent times, so even they don't quite know what the surface was going to do. Learning process for both sides.
Well, I did say that Fakhar Zaman was unorthodox. He was coming down the pitch. The bowler had 3 more yards to go in his run-up.
But again, Young, I think, has learnt, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's gone into the surface, he's driving it in and bowling those off-cutters. Young will tend to not bowl at the very top of the innings or the very death, so if he can get through now, it's been excellent.
Just the one, Sterling, the fielder, end of the over. 133, 138 for 5.
That's going to round out Craig Young's spell. Exceptional figures, 4 overs, 2 for 27. It will be, as we speculated, Alan, it's going to be Mark Adair to bowl 18 and 20. I suspect McCarthy will have to bowl the 19th. These 3 overs, these 18 deliveries, massive in the context of not just today's match, but also the series.
Absolutely it does. So Mark Adair, over number 18 for Ireland. Fakhar Zaman on strike. Has to stretch for it, reach for it. Horizontal bat. Again, a slight change of pace, just marginally slower.
There's so much on the line here, Wilco, not just in terms of this series, the World Cup preparation, the big dance that's going to be taking place next month in the USA and the Caribbean, but also for Ireland, a little eye on the 2026 T20 World Cup and their potential chances would really put them in the box seat to take an automatic spot, even if they don't get to the Super 8 stages. I know that will be their aim come the journey and the odyssey across to New York and the rest of America for Group A, but a lot on the line here for Ireland.
Goes inside out. Could be a chance. No, it's not. It's 6 all the way. What an extraordinary stroke that was from Iftikhar.
Yeah, George Dockrell, I think he was teased by this, wasn't he? He felt he was in the game for, well, 90% of its journey towards him. But it shows the power and the brute force of Iftikhar Ahmed. What a shot this is. I don't think Adair will feel as though he's done a massive amount wrong with the delivery. Now it's going to be followed up by 4 more. The first one was power. This is all touch, Alan Wilkins. How good a piece of batting is this? 10 from just 2 deliveries.
Yeah, well, now that puts a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure on the bowler, Mark Adair. So you've gone for 10 in your first 2.
It was the slower ball, wasn't it? The off-cutter from Mark Adair, but exceptional reading of the delivery and then execution from Ahmed. Bang, bang, 6-4.
Short, picked up, could be out. Great effort. Balbernie.
Love about Clontarf, Wilco. You're so close to the action, not just us here on the sidelines in the commentary booth, but also for the fans. They feel like they're right on top of the players, and they were willing Balbernie on to take that catch. That's the VIP pavilion there where a lot of the Irish friends and family will be. They were pleading with Andy Balbernie to get his hands underneath that, but the 150s come up, 14 deliveries left. Pakistan, they want 170 plus. Can they get there?
Is it gone? Yes, it's been claimed.
McCarthy. Barry McCarthy again. He's everywhere.
Barry McCarthy. That is a spectacular catch. They don't come much better, especially when you have to dive forward. The ball's coming and you feel that you're not going to get there. It's a magnificent catch. How inspirational is this for Ireland?
Well, since you've joined me alone, we've seen 5 runs save. We've seen him boot one onto middle sump. And now we've seen him leap forward and take a wonderfully athletic diving catch. It was actually the on-pace delivery. I think Adair has missed the block hole, so it was there to be hit. Oh, but that's exceptional. Barry McCarthy at his best. The one thing you can always guarantee is 100% effort. It's brought about another big wicket. Zaman's gone for 20, and it's now 100. I think it's big Shaheen Shah Afridi to the crease. Gets a huge roar as the PA announcer announces his name. Wilco, you've done a lot of cricket.
Well,
Shaheen Shah Afridi,
yeah.
special talent.
Well, he is. And what he has done in recent seasons as captain of the Lahore Qalandars, I guess you, as captain, you've got extra license to put yourself up the order, but he has, and he's been batting at 5 and 6, sometimes at 4. But he can get important runs. He just loves to favour that leg side, a little bit like Pakistani, just helps it round on that leg side. So he'll be looking over towards the nets on the far side, leg side of this ground. Interesting that he's come in ahead of Imad Wasim. Short, leg side. I think that was a drop catch.
It's been put down, and I think, would you believe, Alan, I think it's George Dockrell, of all people, one of Ireland's most reliable fielders. It should have been 2 and 2. Instead, it'll be a single to get Afridi off the mark. It's 151 for 6.
Ireland have bowled and fielded themselves not just into this contest, but I would say at the moment they're in pole position against Pakistan. And this batting by Pakistan puts their bowlers under pressure.
I'd be a touch more conservative.
Yes, they will.
I'd say it's game on.
Yeah,
I think it's very much game on, though. Last 2 overs critical again. Here's McCarthy.
Well, Shaheen Shah Afridi, he's out there now. He'll have an idea of the pace of this pitch, what he's going to bowl on it. Naseem Shah, Abbas Afridi, those are your 3 seamers. Can bowl his off-spin Shadab, of course, the leg spinner.
A very small sample set here at this ground in terms of the T20I game. Only 3 T20Is have been held here, as the games in Dublin have tended to gravitate across to Malahide, the other a little bit further up the northern coast, that beautiful ground in the village.
That's virtually on one leg. It's a one-legged 6. That's a short boundary straight, but it's still got to get there.
Yeah, it's the shortest part of the ground by a distance today. It's come in, well, what, 5 or 6 meters in from the actual perimeter of the ground, because you've got the grounds covers, the advertising hoardings, and then the rope has to have that distance in play. Alan Border famously hit, I think it was 34 from an Angus Dunlop over in a touring game. Might have been back in 1993 at this venue. Shaheen Shah Afridi shows that when you do hit it straight here, like Border did all those years ago off the off breaks of Angus Dunlop, you get good reward. Big strike for 6. But Wilco, because of that small sample set, there hasn't been many games played here, and they've tended to all be low scoring. That being said, the one big chase that was achieved, it was by Ireland against Zimbabwe, hunting down 152 with 9 deliveries to spare. So they to work with.
Yeah, Barry McCarthy will try and use the fast bowler's mentality here against Shaheen Shah Afridi, in the sense that he'll know that anything up and Shaheen will have a go at it. So he's going to try and tempt him with some short stuff here. By nature, Shaheen doesn't like the short stuff. He'd rather go lean into, he'd rather get down the pitch to the ball, and he loves this leg side. Bowled into the surface again. And the fact that Shaheen is so tall gives the bowler an advantage, because he can pitch it short because he is so tall.
Yeah, and I think McCarthy's certainly identified he's not going to be going slower ball again, is he? He's got to go on pace. And it's the first over he's bowled from this end, bowling down the hill with the wind, if you will, as well. He did the hard yards for his first 3 overs. The figures don't look pretty today, but it doesn't really tell his story, does it? He's been everywhere in the field, McCarthy. He's in many ways coming into his own as one of Ireland's real talisman under the captaincy, the permanent captaincy now of Paul Sterling in the white ball stuff. He's got 2 deliveries left.
Bowled. Shaheen's looking to the square leg umpire to say, well, you know, is that wide? It's not.
Mark Hawthorne, I think he's made the right decision, because there was a significant shuffle across pre-ball from Afridi to try and target the leg side, to hit it towards the pavilion here in Clontarf. So as a consequence, the umpire should adjust his guideline. It was outside the guideline from McCarthy, but he gets away with a 4th dot in the over. He'll just have 1 ball left to try and close out his spell. Pakistan, it's hovering around that 170, isn't it?
Yeah, we're at the toss. Babar Azam said 180. He's looking at 180. That's what he likes. Shaheen goes big over deep mid-wicket. 6 big runs for Shaheen.
Gets us to the end of the 19th. It's 163 for 6.
One over to go. 163 on the board for Pakistan. Put into bat by Paul Stirling, Ireland's umpire, Ireland's captain. The umpires have been in mortal danger.
Well, I think the talk coming into the series with the small boundary lengths, particularly down the ground, was of an absolute run fest. Don't think Ireland will be too displeased with how they've done. 6 deliveries left in the first innings.
That is a top edge over fine leg for 6.
This is where you have to feel for a bowler. Not done a huge amount wrong here. That boundary towards fine leg, as that one's gone, well, it can't be more than, what, 50 metres, can it? And he's just got it up and over. Craig Young is up in the circle, right on the edge of it. Maybe just the line a touch wrong. Needs to get it outside off. Good innovation. And it's back-to-back maximums. The last ball of the 19th, the first of the 20th. That 180's back on the cards.
Yeah, it is. Mark Adair with his final over.
Be the line that Mark Adair is intending to bowl here, Alan. Surely he's got to get it outside the off stump, particularly given the strength of Ahmed with that bottom hand that comes through so effectively. Such an impactful innings from him. 26 off 11. Fakhar Zaman just struggled to get going a bit. Ahmed's made it up for him. Big final 5 deliveries, these.
Makes a little bit of room, and that extra room makes it easier to play that shot through third. It's 4.
Now the double-digit overs are coming with ease, aren't they, for Pakistan? They're getting that flourish despite losing wickets with some regularity in the second half of this innings. They are counter-effecting that with plenty of runs. And 180 is almost guaranteed now. Adair, so often Ireland's hero at the death. Well, he's under the pump now, 11 from 2 legal deliveries and still 4 to go. Ahmed, a sparkling knock.
Iftikhar. Massive blow over square leg. 6 big runs from Iftikhar.
Well, this is a cameo that could be a game-changing cameo. Is it a game-winning one from Iftikhar Ahmed? His strike rate soaring up towards 300. He's gone 6-4-6 from 3 legal deliveries, interspersed by a wide. Well, it was a very friendly off-cutter, wasn't it? Sized up. You felt like he was expecting that was coming, and smashed away. The crowd that maybe is supporting Ireland and Pakistan in equal measure, if not possibly favouring the visitors. They're looking.
Yeah, I know, but if you're Mark Adair, you're worried. You're worried because you've got to finish this final over. Bowled. Oh, he's got to be out. Hit the stumps, he can't hit them. Shaheen was all that Mark Adair had to do was roll the ball onto the stumps.
Well, I just want to give great credit here to Harry Tector. He saved a run as well. was almost too easy, wasn't it, for Adair to affect the run out. But Tector was very alive to the fact that the throw might be coming, and he ran 25, 30 yards maybe to cut off the overthrow. Maybe Ahmed wouldn't have taken it anyway. He wants the strike from these final now 2 deliveries.
Looking for the Yorker again, beautifully bowled. Mark Adair chases himself. See, more often than not, the Yorker is the ball where even the informed batter can't score from. It's the most difficult to bowl consistently, but it's the ball that stops runs.
And a little bit of hindsight in what I'm going to say here, but clearly to Ahmed in particular, surely the Yorker, the on-pace delivery into the block hole is a better option than a pretty friendly, floaty, either length slower ball or full slower ball, which he picked up and dispatched nicely. I think Pakistan, just over the course of the last 2 to 3 overs, have maybe gone into the ascendancy again. They've got past that 180 that Captain Babar Azam wanted. Anything now from Shaheen Shah Afridi is a bonus. Here comes the final delivery of the first innings.
Shaheen does a little bit of a waltz after the ball. Iftikhar doesn't want to go back for the second. Shaheen wanted it, so a single off the last ball. And Pakistan, they finish 182 on the board. Is that enough? 82. No one really stayed in and dominated. But the question is for Babar Azam, can the bowlers defend?
One from anyone. Saim Ayub batted nicely for 45 off 29. Babar Azam with a 35th T20 I-50. Only Virat Kohli has more than him in this format of the game. That came off 43 balls, 20 for Fakhar Zaman. But then maybe the most impactful innings of the lot, it was 37 off 15 from Iftikhar Ahmed.
No.
It was built around, well, really 3 important partnerships. The 85 that Azam and Ayub put on, a very swift 27 that got Pakistan back in a position after being in real trouble at 1, 2, 3 for 5. That was with Fakhar Zaman, and then that flourish at the end from Afridi and Iftikhar Ahmed. It might have just put Pakistan on top.
Yeah, Iftikhar. Those runs from Iftikhar, 37 from 15, 3 4s and 3 6s. But of the bowlers, Mark Adair, well, he was a little bit expensive towards the end. 1 for 40 in his 4 overs. McCarthy, 4 overs, none for 39. 2 for 27 in 4 for Craig Young. Curtis Camphor bowled 3 overs for 30. 3 overs from Ben White, the leg spinner, none for 32. And Gareth Delaney, 2 overs, 1 for 11. He might well have had another over. So 182 on the board. Pakistan put into bat. Can Ireland get off to a start? It's here in Clontarf.
Yes, hello and welcome. So mid-innings time to have a discussion around what's been a highly entertaining first innings in this Floki Ireland versus Pakistan T20 I-Series. A little bit of a surprise to my left, not just the main man himself, Faisal Shah, but Faisal, we've got the trophy alongside us. You said at the start of the day you felt Pakistan would go 1-0 up, turvy first innings.
It was indeed. I mean, it ebbed and flowed, and Pakistan, who got off to a goodish start after losing Rizwan early, they made a good comeback through Babar. But midway through that innings, once again, that phase of 7 to 15, they really struggled. And at 15.2 overs, Pakistan were 123 and looking down the barrel. I mean, 180 that they've been getting against New Zealand wasn't deemed enough. But from where they got to themselves to today, getting to that score in the end, they really put up a good fight in the last 4.4 overs.
Talk to us about that second wicket partnership between Babar Azam and Saim Ayub, who I thought batted really nicely, 45 off 29 for him. They put on 85. Are you happy with the platform that gave Pakistan?
Yeah, because the conditions earlier on wasn't easy. Pakistan got up to 36 in the power play, which was, you would feel that in a T20 game it's below par, but they set the platform, they assessed the conditions, and when the second, third string of bowling came along, they really propelled and got Pakistan to that platform. But once again, that phase that they've been troubled lately came again, and they lost wickets regularly in that phase.
What about Ireland's efforts in the field? They looked inspired, wholehearted, an effort led by Barry McCarthy and Harry Tector. They were both outstanding.
Yeah, Rizwan is very, very quick for someone to do him the way Harry Tector did him. That was a stunning piece of effort. And then Barry McCarthy, with hands and with feet, I mean, and overall the ground fielding was absolutely stunning. They threw themselves around. Skipper Sterling led the way as well. That was a terrific effort in the field, I'd have to say that.
Yeah, and for me, the pick of the bowlers, Craig Young. It's only a quick turnaround, just 10 minutes, so we're going to be straight back into action. I think it's Alan Wilkins and Isabel Joyce to guide you through it. Ireland, they're going to need 183 to win and go 1-0 up in this Floki series.
very warm welcome back to Castle Avenue in Clontarf in Dublin. It's the Floki Ireland versus Pakistan T20 Ice Series between Ireland and Pakistan. Earlier, Ireland won the toss and elected to bowl. Pakistan were able to amass 182 for 6 in their 20 overs. I'm Isabel Joyce, delighted to be joined by Faisal, I should say. Some good hitting at the end. Do you think that Pakistan will be pleased with how that batting innings went, or could they have done more?
I mean, if you think the first half when Babar and Saim were going, they probably would have been eyeing 200. But then that clutch of wickets in the middle really pegged them back. And from where they got themselves into, they recovered pretty nicely, I would have to say, because last 2 overs, 31 runs, last 3 overs, 44 runs. So that was a good little comeback. Thanks to Iftikhar, Shaheen. Fakhr played a little cameo as well towards the end, although he couldn't find his rhythm throughout the innings. But a couple of lusty blows towards that back end of the innings, and Pakistan 182 would feel like...
Yeah, that's another look at the batting card. So a good start up top, apart from that run out that Tector effected to get rid of Rizwan. And then it was bad reading if you're a Pakistan fan in the middle there. Azam Khan and Shadab Khan both going without scoring. And then a really good cameo at the end from Ahmed and Afridi. So that will be taking them into the break with a little bit of a momentum. Ireland not holding on to a few chances as well, although their fielding has been the ground as well. Those are the bowlers. Wickets for Young, 2 of them, and 1 each for Adair and Gareth Slaney. He just got the 2 overs, even though he only went for 11, so that might be something that Ireland look back on and wonder, should they have possibly given him another one?
Yeah, Ireland had plenty of options, but Adair and McCarthy, who started so impressively, went for runs towards the back end of the innings, and they suffered because of Iftikhar, which can happen. But they did really bowl well with the new ball and set the tone. And Pakistan, like you said, would feel like they've got the runs on the board now. And it'll be a big test for the Irish batters as well. Bilberni and Sterling, very, very good batters. Sterling in particular, the aggressor. Bilberni, the more classical, typical batter who could just give the team that base that they're looking for the big hitters to come around and play around him. This first 6 overs are really going to be important. The power play, and Shaheen Afridi, who's known to strike early. 50 wickets in T20 cricket in his first over. What a remarkable feat that is. And he seems to be hitting his straps just at the right time for Pakistan's sakes.
An incredible stat, that's the left arm seamer. Well, there's that classical batting you spoke about. And it's interesting to hear you talk about how he'll play the more classical role, because we've kind of seen him up the top be a bit more aggressive to try and take some pressure off Paul Stirling. And he'll use the crease, he'll look to go over fine leg. That's something that he likes to do, sweep, and he's taken to sweeping seamers, although I'm not sure he'll do that to Shaheen Afridi. But I think now that he's not captain, he's a bit more expressive with his batting in T20 cricket. Balance just not there from Balberni.
Exactly, and you talk about Bilberni's approach, pretty much similar to Babar Azam, who we know how he can play, but the pressures of this T20 cricket and to get their team off to a good start in the power play, he really had to come out of his shell and do different things. Bilberni also, like you said, and even that last delivery, you would never have seen 6 to 8 months ago or 12 months ago Bilberni playing that kind of a stroke, but now he feels the need to go big in power play, even if it's against Shaheen Afridi.
Looks to swing that one back in, and he keeps the stumps in play. Can't find the gap though, but will Pakistan think that there could be some movement away from the right-hander with a slip in place?
Shaheen, it's kind of over a period of time has become predictable because he wants that in-swinging yorker in the first over. This over already, at least one delivery is angled away from Bilberni. This one once again pulling the length back. Probably saw Bilberni coming. But Shaheen, a year ago, probably wouldn't do that. He would run in and bowl these in-swinging yorkers in the first over. But now, since his game plan has been revealed and players are working out how to play, just keeping that front foot out of the way, allow the ball to swing in and allow the bat to come down with a straight face. Shaheen has not only pulled his length back, but already a couple of deliveries have angled across the right-hander. This is something that we haven't seen Shaheen do.
Well, there's that Fuller one you were talking about, but Balbirnie was alive to it. Squeezes that one through the offside for the first runs of the day for Ireland.
Yeah, there was no swing on that occasion for Afridi. The length was there. He got it right up there, giving it the maximum chance to swing, but it didn't, and Balbirnie was up to the task. Just a little turn of the face of the bat on impact to create that timing and find the gap as well.
Yeah, a little bit guilty of searching for an early wicket here, Shaheen Afridi. He's not willing to bowl a good length and bring his keeper and slip into play. Well, he does on this occasion, and no timing from Andrew Balbirnie. So the first over is done, just the boundary in it, after one Ireland 4 without loss. So the first over gone, and just the boundary from Andrew Balbirnie. Paul Stirling will have been watching from the non-striker's end as his partner tried.
This is going to be exciting passage of play. Paul Stirling will never hold back. We know that. Was the field. Naseem has the ability to swing the ball both ways. He can hit the length and get the ball to seam as well. Just a slip in place. Azam Khan is wicket keeping, and Rizwan alongside him is in the slips. This could be very, very interesting. Fine leg is up in the ring, and there's a deep square leg.
Oh, well, that one has just left Paul Stirling. He's played it well, just played inside the line, but severe bounce as well, so good signs for Naseem.
Good pace and bounce as well from the angle that we're seeing it. It was really climbing on the way up to Azam Khan.
Well, that has given Pakistan the reason to bring in another slip. Yeah. So they're on the attack. They know the importance of Paul Stirling's wicket. They want to get the captain early.
It's never a better side than a fast bowler running in full tilt. 2 slips in place.
Well, that one was very wide. And, well, Babar Azam, as soon as you bring in the second slip, and your bowler bowls are wide, it's one of those where you just have a look at your shoelaces so you don't say anything you regret.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, that little effort delivery, and it went all wrong.
Well, you can't blame him for looking to take that edge. He's got the 2 catches there. Point is backward as well. Third is out, and so is square leg. Just 2 fielders on the leg side, mid-on as well as the square leg. Well, it would have been a very good catch from Fakhar Zaman, but you think he should have taken it really. Seemed to get a full hand onto it, and he's got his hands on his hips now. So Paul Stirling survives an early chance.
Yeah, he got a strong enough hand, but it just didn't stick. Ground. Dockrell also dropped a flat catch. Is this something that Fakhar couldn't see it in time? Because of the background, as Azam does really well, but Naseem's radar is off again.
Well, I was just thinking that 45 is very fine, and I don't think that he's there in case of that deflection, but it's definitely paid off for Pakistan having him very close. You make a good point about that catch, because it does come out of the clubhouse there, and the clubhouse is painted white, so it can be difficult with the lighter ball if it's flat. So just something about this ground in particular that makes things a bit more difficult. Well, that one's not going to be caught, and it's certainly not going to be a chance on the field. Can someone in the crowd catch it, because it's the first maximum for Ireland as Paul Stirling helps himself.
That is an incredible strike, really is. Underneath it, and give it a fair thump. It really flew off the middle of his bat. What a strike.
Well, no one on the field of play could have caught it, and no one in the crowd either, because it's gone over the hedge. A few balls missing today. Ireland will hope that a few more will continue to go missing. Just since that first delivery, Naseem Shah has been too wide. He's been wide outside off and down leg.
Yeah.
And it's so unusual to see from a bowler of this quality to be on the money first ball and then to be bowling the looseners afterwards.
In a funny kind of way, the first delivery that he bowled, Sterling must have woken up that, oh, I got a challenge here on the button. So this one was there in his zone, and we know what can happen when Sterling finds the ball in his zone. He doesn't hold back. That was sweet, sweet timing. It wasn't just all power, but look at how far that carried. That tells you the quality and the class of the man.
Well, that's the problem with bowling very quickly like Naseem Shah does, because someone like Paul Sterling, he's got the balance as well. That kind of delivery sometimes can get players into trouble because they don't move close enough to it. But Paul Sterling just so good with his hands out when it's that width. Balbirnie also has that strength, has the strength out there. So Pakistan struggling with their line a little bit here in this over. And because the ball's so new, they're having to make sure that a pretty new ball is coming out into the middle. It's been adjudged okay.
Well, Pakistan finally happy with that. I think they were the one who didn't like the previous one, and umpire was kind enough to just oblige to them. Yeah, but talking about that balance that we talked about, and it comes from a very strong base. In Sterling, like Azam Khan as well in Pakistan, if he gets going, you'll see that his base is very strong, and it looks like they work out a lot on their lower, and that gives them that stability to just swing the arms with power and speed wherever they want to go. And that was a typical example of that.
Naseem Shah back on a better line, and it's a couple of times now we've seen Ireland just a little bit of miscommunication with the running between the wickets, which is unusual because Balbirnie and Sterling know each other so well. They've just had a little chat, I think, in between, because it's against it.
Yeah, it was a misfield, and it went in that tricky area just behind square where Sterling probably would have lost sight of the ball for a minute, and Balbirnie wasn't sure if whose call was it. And field has been changed now. There's a third in place. Just the one slip now. We had two slips at the beginning of the over.
Straight down, the throat of mid-off. Well, it's been one of those overs where it's been up and down for both teams. Paul Sterling can't quite believe that he's just sent that into the hands of Babar Azam at mid-off. He made no mistake, and Ireland lose their first.
That is a big wicket. And Naseem Shah makes a comeback after getting hit for that 6. Sterling, once again, we've seen that back of a length on the up driving hasn't been easy all day long, especially with the new ball. Sterling hit it in the air, and Ireland now 14 for 1.
So Paul Sterling is dismissed for Ireland as they lose their first on 14. New batter in is Lorcan Tucker, Ireland's wicketkeeper, coming out at number 3. He's a busy cricketer. Lorcan Tucker, he's inventive as well. There was a change in the field in that last delivery for Paul Sterling, where the third went really square out at point, and then he bowled the straighter delivery. So it's almost like a change in the field happens, and Naseem Shah pays absolutely no attention to it. Lorcan Tucker, he's going to have 2 slips to contend with. And 3 fielders saving 1 on the offside.
It's really been a mixed bag this over from Naseem.
He's back full and straight. And he's a fan of that one, Naseem Shah. He was happy with how he finished the over, and so he should be. So another over comes to a close, and after 2, Ireland are 14 for 1. So Shaheen Afridi versus Andrew Balbirnie once again, as Balbirnie watched all the action that last over. He's going to take on the fielder. Good running from Andrew Balbirnie. Went sent it left of Babar Azam in mid-off. Always a single there.
Shaheen persisting with that fuller length, but his lines are much better than Naseem's.
Just won't get the pace off the pitch that you might elsewhere in the world because it's so early in the season as well here. Really good pitch, but we've seen good lift, but probably not the pace that Shaheen Shah Afridi would want.
Move it. No.
That's a better length. Look at that bounce as he welcomes Lorcan Tucker out to the middle.
Pulled up the length on that occasion. Shaheen has mixed it up with his length. Like I said earlier, in terms of his line, he hasn't erred. And that is good to see because Shaheen had, like I said, become a bit predictable in his first spell. He's mixing it up and keeping the batters guessing.
Well, that's a big heave-ho from Lorcan Tucker. It's the in-between length, and Afridi can't quite believe that that's missed.
Yeah, Lorcan Tucker, he's only arrived just recently at the crease, but he's already had enough. This power play really makes batters think that they have to go big. This is the talk all over the world. Sometimes, if you look at Pakistan's innings as well, they huffed and puffed a lot in the power play, but they didn't make much. But they didn't lose many wickets either, so that gave them the platform come over number 6 or 7 to 10, where they really went berserk.
Well, he's found the gap there. Doesn't try and hit it too hard. Lorcan Tucker uses all the pace on offer from Shaheen Afridi, and he gets off the mark with a boundary.
That is a sublime piece of timing. Not looking to hit the ball hard at all. Just picked up the length, covered the line, just hands through the ball. Beautiful flow of the hands. And the placement was superb as well.
Well, that's prompted a change in the field. Slip comes out now, and extra cover in place. Just gives Afridi a bit more license to pitch it up. And he's completely bamboozled there, Lorcan Tucker, but drawn into a false shot as he practices what he should have done, but definitely did not do.
Yeah, he got deceived. Great deception there from Shaheen Afridi. He thought to himself, he's using my pace against me. I'm not going to give him any pace. And Tucker was into his stroke way too early. He probably wasn't anticipating a slow delivery. Shaheen was just one step ahead of him.
A brilliant bowling from the fast bowler, recognising the youthfulness and pace off. Bouncer now, and helped to 45, but can't beat the fielder. So just the 5 in that over of Afridi, and after 3, Ireland 19 for 1. So our first change in the bowling for the Pakistan innings. Imad Wasim, the left-arm spinner, coming into the attack. Do you reckon this is a good change inside the power play?
It is, because Imad is quite accustomed to bowling with the new ball, actually. And since his and Amir's return into the fold, Pakistan has got many options in the power play with the new ball. Of course, Amir can bowl with the new ball as well. Naseem, when he's at his best, he's prolific. Shaheen, we all know about it. And Imad, if the conditions suit, he could really be a handful. So Pakistan, you have to say.
Well, straight on the sweep, Balbirnie manages to miss the fielder at square. 1 bounce and 4 runs. Welcome to the game. And
up, and then he bowls right into the pads. And once again, not trying to hit it too hard. It was just a placement that was superb, and the timing was great. Imad's angle was working in his favor.
Well, you have to be careful with Balbirnie with the sweep shot because he's so good at it and he can pick up the line very quickly. So bowling outside off is the order of the day. Plenty of protection, 5 fielders saving a single. But he does find the gap between the fielders, in between the 2 points. Andrew Balbirnie, well, he likes this bowling change 4 more.
This is terrific batting because Ahmad cannot angle the ball into Balbirnie. He got punished with the sweep shot. He changes his line and Balbirnie is good enough to once again carve it through the offside. The timing has been superb. He hasn't broken sweat yet with any of his boundaries. That is a great bit of batting from Andrew Balbirnie. Ireland would need him in this run chase.
That's better, much better line. You have to be straight, but not too straight that you get swept. So not a huge margin for error for the left arm spinner, especially inside the power play. Just 2 fielders out, square and long on. And just holds the pace back.
And also it tells you international cricket is completely different to the franchise cricket. Ahmad was bossing PSL, especially towards the knockout stages of the game, the crunch games. He was really on fire, but ever since he's come back to the Pakistan side with a different role, he has found it a little difficult to repeat that form. Over comes to an end. 4 gone, Ireland 20.
A second change in the bowling. Abbas Afridi replacing Shaheen Afridi. So more seam. They're opting to change back to seam after Ahmad was taken for 8 runs in his first over. So it wasn't too bad considering those couple of early boundaries in his over. Lifted into the leg side. There's a fielder in the deep and he takes the catch. Just didn't get hold of that one. Lorcan Tucker didn't time it well enough, sends it straight into the waiting hands, and Ireland lose their second.
Was it a change of pace from Abbas Afridi? He's really good with those back of the hand change-ups. But first delivery, the line was straight, but it didn't come onto the bat, and just bottom part of the bat, it sailed to the fielder. It wasn't a clean connection. You could tell from the reaction of Tucker as soon as he hit it, he knew that he hasn't got it off the meat. And Abbas Afridi make an instant impact on the game. Tucker gone for 4. Who was the catch?
So Lorcan Tucker not able to get going there at all. That brings Harry Tector out into the middle. Good catch. An easy catch, though, in the end for Fakhar Zaman. And Harry Tector just going about making sure that his working surface is in order. Somebody who I think he's not on the sideline hoping people don't get out, you know, hoping for the... He's itching to get out there in the middle, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's an impact player for this Ireland team. I mean, his form lately has been pretty good. Ireland need him, though.
Well, that was a better way to play it. Just held off Harry Tector, pushes it into the leg side for a single. I just think Lorcan Tucker didn't pay attention to where the fielder was in the deep there. That's why he'll be so disappointed with that dismissal. Not a great delivery to start from Afridi. He won't get much easier wickets than that.
Yeah, especially he's feeling himself in, like I said, in the Pakistan innings, in the power play. Even if you don't get off to a flying start, you don't lose too many wickets, so you stay in the game. And there does come a phase where you can just launch an assault. For that, you need to have wickets in hand. Playing a miss again. Any run chase that will be derailed with the regular loss of wickets. You need a partnership. It's better if you get one at the top for the first or second wicket. Even now, I mean, if these two can just assess the situation. Pakistan will come hard. Pakistan has very little defensive tactics when it comes to bowling. They're always at you. They don't bowl defensive lines and lengths. They will be coming at you. They want wickets. So they may give you opportunities along the way as well.
Another full one on the pads. Easy single for Tector and Balbirnie. Well, Pakistan 38 for 1 in their power play, so underscoring for them, and they're not the most attacking, or they're not the most successful in power plays. They generally get around 50 though, so that will have been under what they're hoping to get. But Ireland are making it look like they're chasing down 200, 210 here with the intent and the swings across the line. We've seen proper cricket shots be the ones that by and large have worked so far today. Once you get it through the infield here in Clontarf, very difficult to chase the ball down. And that one clipped into the leg side. Lots of work to do and missed in the end.
Exactly what you said. If you're looking to bludgeon the ball, you haven't yielded much. But if you're looking to time the ball, it really races across. Once again, playing it late, roll of the wrist. You'd have to say the line was too straight, but the timing was sublime. It only was 10 yards away from that sweeper, and he just couldn't get around.
A splendid shot from Harry Tector, who's looked to relax since coming out into the middle. Doesn't seem to feel the same pressure to score as we've seen the other Ireland batters do. Looks to try and beat the offside, but plenty of protection in there. So the wicket and 6 runs from that first Afridi over, and after 5, Ireland 33 for 2.
Ireland would be disappointed with the 2 wickets. Balbirnie is still in there, but Sterling with a magnificent 6 went immediately after that, and Tucker, who hit a boundary, also went soon after. Tector has made a positive start. These two would need to bat for a little longer. Pakistan.
Well, there is batting to come, Camphor and Dockrell, but they won't want to lose another wicket inside the power play, Ireland. Balbirnie and Tector need to put in some hard yards here as they move from the power play into the middle overs. A slower delivery to start, very smart bowling.
Naseem Shah is back. Just the 1 over for Ahmad from the far end.
Well, I would say that if you're Pakistan, you want to keep the left-arm spinner away from Andrew Balbirnie. That's his matchup that he favours. So good on the sweep, especially inside the power play. Once you can pack the leg side field, then I think he can think about coming back. Quick backward point and keeps it to just a single. Good field placement from Pakistan.
A couple of overs ago, or even in Naseem's first over, at a point.
Yeah, they've got a third almost in fly slip, I should say. So close. So they always say throw the kitchen sink at it and it goes past slip. It could go into that fielder's hands. Third and fine inside the ring, which enables Naseem to bowl a little bit fuller and outside off.
Yeah, if you bowl out, though, it's very difficult to predict the angles. If he middles it, it's going to go somewhere in front of square. If he gets an edge, God knows where it will go.
Well, there's the short ball, helped leg side. He gets it early enough, does Harry Tector. Almost like he was expecting that one. Stunning shot. And that's another 4 runs to the total.
Yeah, the key was fast hands. He got the hands really quickly out in front. That allowed him to go through with the shot. The line from Naseem was good, but he picked the length very nicely and way in front of square. There was protection in the deep. Square leg was around, but it went to his left. That is good batting. We've seen some good strokes in this Irish innings so far.
And there's another slower delivery. Good comeback from Naseem Shah. He was just taken for a boundary. Just didn't try and overhit it, Harry Tector. He's been comfortable to just push the ball through the offside, use the pace.
Yeah, when there has been pace on offer, and if you're looking to time the ball, the Irish boundaries have been very, very good. And at this stage in power play, they're matching Pakistan.
They just managed to find that third on the ring. It was by no means easy to stop that going for a boundary so short behind the stumps. Does well.
Once again, you notice, realized in that first phase that it's better to just wait for the ball. There's plenty of gaps behind square as well. Like he said, if he only had to beat that fielder at short third, a very fine short third.
Well, Balbirnie helps himself to another slower ball. One bounce over the rope over cover for a classy boundary to close out that over. 10 runs from it and finishes the power play with a 4. So at the end of the power play, Ireland are 43 for 2. And so thank you to Shah Faisal, who'll take a break for now. Delighted to welcome back into the commentary position Alan Wilkins.
Hi, Izzy. And I've got the binoculars on because I can tell you that we're not used to sun this strong. The sunshine is so strong. So I'm actually looking through binoculars. The sun is on the scoreboard, 43 for 2, 6 overs gone. And it is a beautiful, beautiful evening here. It's 5:30, coming up to 5:30 in the afternoon here in Dublin. Andy Balbirnie on 18 and Harry Techt at 10. These two are the two top order stalwarts, the two guys who've really got to see Ireland at least to a big partnership to get them into a position where they can threaten Pakistan. Pakistan with their 182 for 6 on the board. Shadab Khan. Can't go yet. There's a bit of a problem. It's been an amazing match, Izzy, in the sense that both teams started with the seam bowlers, naturally, brand new ball, but with 2 slips, and not just for the first over, for the first 3 or 4 overs. Shadab.
Absolutely. Well, when the ball missed the bat, it missed by a long way. So no real chances going that way, but you could see why they got a little bit excited with the lift that has been shown in this wicket.
Balbirnie sweeps on length as well.
That was almost a heart in the mouth moment for Balbirnie.
Just a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, that could have gone straight into the hands. That would have been incredible. Just a little tickle and it almost flew to the boundary.
It's a good thing as well, try and belt boundaries, but he keeps that scoreboard ticking over. For a big man, he's very quick between the wickets, isn't he?
Yeah, really good awareness. If he's not going to try and hit it hard, he makes sure he turns strike over.
Really well timed from Andy Balbirnie. You can just see Azam Khan, the keeper as well, giving a bit of feedback to Shadab, saying you're bowling the wrong line. You've got to bowl it more off stump.
Really elegant stuff from Balbirnie. But it was a full toss, so Shadab Khan hasn't got his length right, never mind the line yet. I think he's a little bit worried about the straight boundaries here that he's having to bowl to.
Or through point, always the man out there for the leg spinner.
Well, I think as well with that shot, Andrew Balbirnie has taken a leaf out of Harry Techter's book because he just pushed it into the gap.
Yeah.
He wasn't worried about hitting a 6 or blasting it for 4, willing to just place it and let the quick outfield do the work for him.
Now they'll settle for another one, just a single this time. End of the 7th over, it's 52 for 2. $52 for 2. Ireland chasing 183 to win this match, the first of 3 T20 internationals today, Sunday and Tuesday in the Floki tournament. Floki is a cryptocurrency, I learned. Not that I'm a dealer.
You learn something new every day.
I have no idea what it is.
Another change in the bowling. Imad Wasim coming on for his second over. Well, a good placement from Tector, but won't manage to come back for 2. I think he's a little bit disappointed that he didn't manage to place that a little bit better.
You know, just as well, the added incentive for both these teams is that they're playing with the World Cup. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup is just around the corner, and the misfield costs a run for his team. And I think that gives an edge to this series, because Pakistan, yes, they've brought this team, the squad of 18 over, but you know, you've got players like Ahmad Jamal and possibly Mohammad Haris who want to get back into the side and could easily force their way back into the side. Runs again here for this time.
Well, uses the pace again. Does Andy Balbirnie, makes Imad Wasim bowl a little bit too far outside off stump because of the way that he's able to sweep the ball. And a misfield in point means that he'll get another boundary. So 2 misfields and 2 balls from Pakistan, which won't please their captain and certainly won't please the bowler.
And it won't please Wahab Riaz, who's in this top position with PCB. Had a good chat with him before the match, and he loves the talent that Pakistan has at its disposal. It's a very fine line between harnessing that talent into a winning machine, a winning team, a winning mentality. You've got players, you've got the strengths, and you might say the same about Ireland as well.
Absolutely, but for Pakistan, slight difference because they're all jostling to try and get in the 11, whereas Ireland, it feels like, apart from Josh Little coming back in, they pretty much know their 11.
Sweep. Should be 4. It will be 4.
A little bit of a teaser. Naseem felt like he was in the game there for a while, but a 4 to close out that over. 11 from it, and at the end of the 8th, Ireland are 63 for 2.
Well, this is game on here in Clontarf, one of the lovely suburbs of the city of Dublin. What number are we? Dublin what? What are we?
God, you're testing me, something that I don't think I've had to write a letter to anyone in Clontarf, so I'm not sure. It's Dublin 3.
Dublin 3. Right, I'll settle for Dublin 3. But it's a beautiful cricket ground. It's rustic, it's intimate. It's very different. I doubt that many of these Pakistan cricketers have played on grounds like this. Abbas Afridi.
These guys wouldn't be used to playing on grounds like this. An overwhelming memory of mine from my youth is watching West Indies play here, and Brian Lara was lying out on the ground, just lying out on the ground in the middle there with a big crowd of Irish youngsters around him, giving him a bit of room, and he just was lying there chatting to different people. I've got a great picture of me and my twin sister waiting, hoping to get his autograph at the age of 9 or 10.
Did you get it?
We did, of course.
Well
they were
done.
so friendly.
Well done, Brian Lara. Shot. Goodness me, that's a great shot. That's one of the shots of the match from Harry Tector. Balance, poise, power, everything in that shot in such elegant fashion as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is an incredible shot, because have a look at the way his arms move as he hits this. Doesn't even get full extension. It's just the forearms, a short arm jab. That's literally just the forearms that's hit that for 6. So and that's the long side of the ground as well. It's not a small hit, that one. Manages to launch it for 6.
Going to go back for 2. They're going to get 2. There's pressure on these Pakistan fielders. I must say, I do enjoy watching Abbas Afridi bowl. He reminds me of a wonderful bowler for Pakistan, Umar Gul, and I was informed before the match that it's funny you should say that, because he's actually related to Umar Gul. He's a nephew, I believe, of Umar Gul. I just think the way he runs in is Umar Gul.
It's also his load up. It's very like Umar Gul,
isn't it? Yeah, right there,
here,
and there. You're right. The load up. And he's wearing 55, which is the number that Umar Gul.
That's lovely. He needs to maybe create his own journey, though. It's hard to live in the shadow of a family member, I think. So I'm interested to see these chosen the same number.
Yeah, well, he's got years ahead of him to learn his craft. But he can do it. Again, there's that short arm jab from Tector. Harry Tector stands tall. He's a tall lad. He's about 6'4", 6'5". Towers above you. When you stand in front of him, you realize how tall he is.
Yeah, the whole family are so tall. You don't want to hang out with the Tector children. Their parents aren't as tall, but the Tector children towering around you. It's for someone who's 5'3". It's a bit imposing, with a lovely family of cricketers, all 4 of them.
And there's a daughter who plays.
Absolutely, Alice Tector. She's going to be the best. I'm always saying the best of the lot.
Good. Good to hear it. Nicely steered for 1 from Andrew Balbirnie. So 183 is the total that Ireland are chasing. 74 for 2. Balbirnie on 35. Harry Tector on 23. 8 overs gone. This is a terrific reply from the home side. Forecast is good for Sunday. Absolutely outstanding tomorrow. 24, 25 degrees centigrade is forecast. Shot, no run. Tector misses out. The end of the over. That's 9 overs gone. 74 for 2. Oh, would you believe it? Here we are, May the 10th, and we're having a slight drinks break with water because of the searing temperatures here.
Yeah, well,
20 to 6 in the evening.
I mean, I've had to stand up and I'm trying to hide my arms behind my back because I didn't think I needed to put sun cream on. But the sun is now just underneath, and look out, I'm going to get a tan.
Well done. Well, Izzy, when you were captain of Ireland, did you play cricket here? Did the Irish women's team play their cricket here?
A little bit, but no, we played mostly in YMCA. Thank you so much. Some sun cream coming my way. We played mostly in YMCA, which unfortunately is no longer a cricket ground. So that's been a big loss for Irish women.
Shadab, he's on at the city end. He's changed ends. Shaheen, the fielder, at the second attempt. Balbirnie gets 2.
It's interesting that there have been so many misfields, because it's like fielding on a carpet out here in Clontarf. You don't get much better surfaces to field on. Maybe it's just about how quickly the ball travels across the ground.
Two men behind point on that short side, on that offside. Shadab does push it through now and again. Those two in that sort of strategic positions to save the 1. In the air, but there's no one in the inner ring on that leg side, so it's always a single. If Balbirnie, the way he played that, went back to on his stumps and played it leg side.
Yeah, 50-run partnership between these two. A couple of early wickets for Ireland. Lorcan Tucker and Paul Stirling dismissed early. It's better end for Shadab Khan to bowl from. He's not as worried about being hit straight back over his head.
Yeah, that's
much
a
longer
worry.
to that end.
Quicker this time from Shadab. Spears that into Harry Tector.
Well, these are the overs that Pakistan will try and keep Ireland quiet. It's not so much about taking wickets as putting the pressure on so that Ireland have to go big later on. So it's been a good one so far from Shadab Khan.
Azam Khan wants it. He's appealing for the catch. Balbirnie says, I didn't touch it. And more importantly for Ireland, the umpire says he didn't touch it. Azam Khan went straight up.
Well, umpire Johnny Kennedy didn't move. He was unmoved as well from that appeal. Only the bowler and the wicketkeeper really convinced that that was a wicket. No one in the rest of the team seemed moved.
It's gone leg side again. Big hit from Balbirnie. It's 6 to Andy Balbirnie for Ireland. What a good shot that is. End of the over. 10 overs gone. 84 for 2 Ireland.
Well, brilliant timing. Takes it from outside off stump and finds the gap over the boundary for 6. Always a gap over the boundary.
Outstanding reply this for Ireland. Pakistan require 99 in 10 overs. I beg your pardon, Ireland require 99 in 10 overs with 8 wickets in hand. It puts pressure on Pakistan's bowlers to finish the job. They're defending 182.
Well, Andy Balbirnie now on 44 and Harry Tector on 24.
Imad Wasim and Harry Tector plays it out just for 1.
It does seem a case of Ireland happy to rotate strike and then when the opportunity presents itself, take the boundary rather than the other way around. And it feels like that's how Pakistan played. They were more sweating on the boundaries and not too keen on rotating strike.
Babar Azam in that extra cover position. He didn't open today, Babar. Came in at 3.
Well, he was in pretty early anyway, though.
He was. Ahmed Rizwan run out. Outstanding fielding from Harry Tector, who's batting now.
I always think it's a bonus to have a number 3 who's done a lot of opening because they're not too stressed if they get out in the first couple of overs.
Well, Pakistan had the luxury. They had Babar coming in at 3 and Fakhar Zaman coming in at 4. And then you've got players like Iftikhar coming in the late middle order. And he's a heck of a good player coming in there. And he can create havoc. He can cause many problems for many bowlers. So Fakhar Zaman and Iftikhar, these batters who can be so destructive. But just have the feeling here that Ireland have just gone a bit quiet. They need boundaries. I think Pakistan will be quite happy here, Izzy, that they're conceding the occasional single.
Absolutely.
They need a flurry of boundaries here because that asking rate is going up for Ireland. So if you're a bowler, if you're the Pakistan captain, you're quite happy to concede that single. End of the over. That's 11 gone. It's 88 for 2.
starts off with a shorter one. Andy Balbirnie places it perfectly and keeps the fielder in the deep interest, but it just keeps leaving him. Well, there's the first of the boundaries you were looking for, Alan.
Well, that's Abbas Afridi out there. And it's a half century for Andy Balbirnie. It's outstanding batting from Balbirnie, holding this Ireland innings together. And now it's a good scoring rate, it's a good return.
It's just been that ability to score 4s and 6s with the sweep shot on the leg side off the spinners that seems to be the thing keeping him at such a good scoring rate.
Tector goes over that deep extra. It's one of his go-to shots. You know, some players are known for a certain shot. That is Harry Tector's. He loves going over that extra because he's got such long arms and long legs.
Yeah, that's what makes him so difficult to bowl to. He's got such long levers, doesn't he? But he makes extra use of them, but doesn't seem to struggle to get down on the sweep shot either. So he's not typical in that way for a tall man.
Rizwan, Mohammad Rizwan, who's back into cricket, having missed the New Zealand series with injury, not keeping wicket. Those duties are with Azam Khan. Reverse this time, and it's fine for 4. Harry Tector changing the mindset.
Inventive stuff from Harry Tector. He got this so fine. There's a fielder in third, but he beats him easily. It's a good inventive batting from Harry Tector. He left it quite late to get into position, but good quick hands, gets the bat around just in time, and it was the perfect delivery as well.
It's the end of 12 overs, and the 100 is up for Ireland. It's 100 for 2. They're 100 for 2.
His last over only went for 4 runs, Imad Wasim, so he'll want something similar. Wouldn't mind a few wickets to go along with it, no doubt.
Yeah.
But if he can keep this over quiet, then he'll have done a good job.
He's difficult to get away, is he?
Short straight. So if you can bowl as a spinner from that end, very valuable. He's making sure he doesn't get too full, bowling very quick left arm spin.
It's his last over too, Imad Wasim. They want to, and they'll get the second as well. It's good running.
Excellent pressure. They were calling it from the beginning. Force the fielder to try and pick up one. Andy Balbirnie, who's been there from the start, in and out very quickly. Shouts of maybe from Harry Tector, but he realised that quite quickly that they wouldn't be able to repeat the dose.
Just gone 10 to 6 in the evening. In the early evening, I reckon it's the hottest part of the day here now, as the heat is on. Both these teams, Pakistan will contain Ireland. Have Ireland got the belief that they can get this scoring rate, which is heading towards 11 and over? And that's why he said, Izzy, that they need some. It's an outstanding spell, this, by Imad Wasim.
Yeah, excellent bowling from him, because every over they don't get that run rate makes the required run rate jump. So just 4 from the first 3 deliveries of the over. Ireland needs some boundaries.
Bowled, really well bowled. He's giving nothing here. And he's bowling it flat enough, so it's difficult. He's top edge this. It's a catch for Shaheen. Shaheen Shah Afridi takes the catch, and a very good catch it is too. And it's Harry Tector who's on the way back.
Well, he can't quite believe he's done that, Harry Tector, because he looked so at ease in his innings, but those dot balls, those singles, putting a lot of pressure on him. Decides to go across the line and just too quick. Catches it high on the bat, and an easy catch for Shaheen Afridi. Harry Tector goes for 36, and Ireland are 104 for 3.
Well, Harry Tector is just gone, and that's a big blow, but it means that George Dockrell comes in. Now, George Dockrell didn't bowl in the Pakistan innings, and he's down as a genuine all-rounder, so his batting has got to come to the fore here.
Well, Andrew Leonard's been talking ad nauseum about it, but not a lot of bowlers outside the top 5 getting an opportunity in this Ireland T20 team. But he's been promoted up to number 5. Usually we see him at 6 or 7.
It's 106 for 3.
Set up, isn't it? It really is absolutely in the balance. 78 needed, 42 deliveries remaining. Just a shade over 10 runs required per over, but 7 wickets in hand for Ireland. And a change in tactics. We've seen a few today. We saw Curtis Camphor used with the ball in the power play, and now we saw George Dockrell come up a spot in the order, up to number 5. Very strong down the ground. Andrew Leonard here to guide you through the last 7 alongside Faisal Shah. Faisal, great to have you with me. This is set up as pretty as a picture. Could be a compelling, is it going to be a final over finish?
Just a hint of turn for Shadab, the previous delivery. That's what was expected earlier on when we saw the wicket before the game. Crucial phase.
Effort. That really should have been stopped, but he's dived over it. I think it's Imad Wasim back into Pakistan colours, and he's dived over his fellow spinner's delivery. Cost 3 runs and a critical boundary to Balbirnie.
That was very sloppy from Imad. You could tell that he was late on the ball, and then that movement, he was really struggling to move towards his right, and it was more of a roll than a dive. And Shadab back under pressure.
Well, it's an if at this stage, Faisal, but if Ireland get over the line in this game, how much of it will come down to the third discipline? How much of it will come down to that fielding? I thought Ireland were exceptional in the field. Pakistan dropped catches, few misfields, bit sloppy.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's whatever you can say up until this point, that is the clear difference. And Ireland's recovery for that 3rd wicket partnership was superb as well. They give themselves a chance. 10 and over these days is not much for the modern day batters.
Pump down the ground, that's Dockrell's favourite area. It's short, straight, it's 4. That's why he's being promoted up the order. It was floated up quite gently by Shadab Khan. Dockrell took the invitation. It's a second boundary in the over. The 10 runs they require, they've already got them.
With 2 balls to go. And that could be a big over. Shadab's final over of the game. Just too full. Just gave himself that room.
Back live with you now. Dockrell goes downtown. He goes out of the ground. It's 4, it's 6. It's Ireland in the ascendancy. It's more than just game on here. It might be Ireland's game to lose from here.
They really put themselves into pole position. This was once again too full. And Dockrell just gave himself that room. This time went under the ball, gave the elevation and also that distance. Although it's a short boundary, but it went 10 rows back into the crowd. And Ireland have put themselves into a great position here with Bilburney holding the fort at one end. Dockrell has played a cameo already. 12 of 4 deliveries.
And the difference, you think about Fakir Zaman's first 4 deliveries in the same role, none off 4 he was. Dockrell goes to 12 off 4. Yes, it's a small sample size, but a big swing towards the Irish. And now the pressure telling, well, that's given us a wide, Faisal. That wasn't far from being a no ball off the pitch.
That was very wide, and Shadab, none for 48 into his 4th over, has really been under the pump.
Tries to go downtown again. Well, I think this one is not going to get there. Oh, just. We may have to go upstairs. The question is, has he stood on the rope or not? It's a long way away.
It looks like it's Iftikhar. Normally a very... He's looking very disappointed. Did he tread back on that rope? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, I haven't seen a signal here yet, Faisal. We're going to have to get another look at this. It's a difficult situation because the 6 has not gone up on the scoreboard. You just wonder exactly what has happened here. We're sadly as misinformed as you are right now. It's 122 for 3 as far as we're aware right now. We'll come back with more. Just get one more look at it here, Faisal. Don't believe it was a free hit. So as we look at the man out at long on, we can only suspect he's gone over the rope here. Super slow motion's going to help us. He has taken the catch cleanly, there's no doubt about that, but that's the crucial moment. 6 it is, it was out of our vision, it still hasn't gone on the scoreboard. It's not 1-2-2 for 3, it's 1-2-8 for 3.
And Shadab has reached his half century for his bowling innings, and that would make his figures 54 for none in 4 overs. Once again, his bowling form will be questioned, and you would think that...
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Faisal. The hold-up is actually for the umpires not knowing whether it was 6 or out yet either. George Dockrell, clearly there's the indication. The arms are raised, and the home crowd may be bolstered by a few Friday afternoon sunny drinks that are being taken in. They're finding their voice now. It is 1-2-8 for 3. It's Ireland in the ascendancy, and it's just 55 more required to win from 6 overs now.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere inside the ground. You'd think that the grandstand towards the far end of the ground is mostly occupied by the Pakistani fans, but towards the main pavilion there's a lot of Irish fans making a lot of noise. Once again into the gap, running hard. Take on Rizwan, the throw is wide. Azam Khan done really well in the end. It's all happening here. It's pretty frenetic stuff here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's probably only a little apparent at home as well. We've really had the first sunny day in Ireland, maybe of the summer, certainly of what feels like a very long time. It was dark and dreary the last 6-7 weeks. It was very cool as well. Temperatures sub-zero at the end of April at points, but the sun has come to the party, as to have the Irish batters, and they've had to turn back to their star bowler Shaheen Shah Afridi probably earlier than they would have liked. This will be given as a wide, despite George Dockrell shuffling across. Everything right now seems to be going Ireland's way.
It is indeed. Shaheen was a bit perplexed with that call. Talking about the sunny weather, it really feels warm now. The sun has started to go down. And Last week I was in Karachi and I promised you guys that I will bring some sun.
Well, Faisal, if you had one thing to deliver on, you've delivered in spades. I think the Irish Tourism Board, Fulcha Ireland, will be getting in touch saying.
This is superb though. I mean, and the game itself, the way you see, as Shaheen has decided to change the angle.
Yeah, it comes round the wicket now. The aim will be to cramp Dockrell for room. He does that effectively from his first delivery. There's still an easy way back into this.
Like I was talking to Isabel as well, that they will hunt wickets. They don't like defensive bowling. So if the wicket falls and they maybe couple in quick succession and Pakistan will be back in the game, this is what Ireland need to guard against. Bilberni's role is very, very crucial. He has to stay till the end.
Whipped into the leg side and whipped into the gap. Looks for the block hole, doesn't find it. And that's too easy to whip away with the angle. Dockrell gets 4 more. This is turning into a cameo that will rival Ahmed's in the first innings. That was a game-changing one. Is this one going to be a game-winning one from Dockrell?
Yeah, and at this stage you would just think that they only need 1 boundary in the over. And they got it relatively early in this over as well after Shadab's big over. The angle was in his favor. It was too full, asking for trouble, and Bilberni put it away. Dockrell rather put it away. Look at his strike rate now. 22 of just 7. This could be a game-changing innings if it carries for any length of time.
Just be a single this time with protection out there. Yeah, I think we spoke at length in the pre-match show, didn't we, about the difference between the sides in terms of how settled they are in nature. There's no doubting the talent that Pakistan have, but is it fair to say they're still searching for their best 11, their final 11 ahead of next month's World Cup?
You would think so, because the way they selected 18 for this tour, and if they're working on rotations like they said against New Zealand, so close to the World Cup, it means that there is no proper role allocation for players, so they don't know what is their role day in, day out. Every day it's a different role for a different player.
Down the leg side, might have just flicked something. Umpire Mark Hawthorne says no. He says it's a wide. Afridi thought it had. The double teapot comes out from him. It matters not. Another run to the total.
Yeah, and you would think so close to the World Cup, by this stage you would know your team and you would be working on just giving the fine-tuning to the roles allocation and people getting used to the roles day in and day out, whatever games are left, just 6 after this. But at the moment, if you're searching for your best 11, then it means that you will have very little time to tell players what they're expected of in different situations.
Also probably a little less than ideal that Gary Kirsten, who's been appointed, can't be here yet. He still has IPL duties to complete. Bilberni for the moment is just happy to shovel it around. You can't blame him. 1s and 2s from him will be enough if Dockrell's cameo can continue. Was that a big surprise for you to see Babar Azam drop down to number 3? I think he opened in all 4 completed T20s against New Zealand.
Not a big surprise, because like I said, they haven't worked out yet that who is the best partner for Saim Ayub. And they tried with Babar in the series against New Zealand. But talking about Gary Kirsten, like we discussed at the top of the show, even if the best coach in the world coming in, it's not a magic, it's a process. And there's very little time for that process before the World Cup.
Be a dot ball to close out the over, but Ireland will feel as though they've probably done enough. Afridi was brought back to get a wicket. He hasn't done that. Gets us to the end of the 15th. 137 for 3. Get a look at the state of the game here, Faisal. Ireland still have plenty of batting to come. Again, I wouldn't rely upon that as necessarily being the order. We could easily see Gareth Delaney come in at number 6, and Mark Adair, well, he's a devastating power hitter at number 7 as well. So plenty of hitting to come for Ireland. Is it their game to lose from here?
It is, but I would still want the players in the middle with the kind of run rate that they have at the moment, the required run rate. One of these two will have to see the chase through, because you don't want to give Pakistan the sniff. If Pakistan has got one end open, they have the ability to just come roaring back into the game. So definitely one of these two will have to see through, no matter how big or how capable is the rest of the batting. Sometimes it's not easy to get your innings started when the pressure is really on.
And the other, I suppose, challenge for Pakistan, again, they'll get some learnings from it, but no Harris Rauf, who is so devastating at the death. He's got that remarkable wicket-taking record, so it's another chance for Naseem Shah. He has that yard of pace. Now, pace can travel, but pace can also bring you wickets. And he, alongside Abbas Afridi, you would suspect may have to bowl quite a few of the remaining overs. Abbas Afridi has 2 left. Naseem Shah has 2, including this one. They've only used 5 bowlers, Pakistan.
Yeah, Abbas would be the specialist to close the innings out, the kind of variations he has. So if he has 2 overs, and Naseem Shah probably will also bowl through. So Shaheen with 1 over left. So they've, like I said, they had options, but now it's too late.
Short ball helped round the corner, helped to a vacant gap. It's going to be 4 more. This time to Balbirnie. Everything is just swinging so heavily in Ireland's favour. This is a wonderful partnership for the 5th wicket. Is it guiding Ireland home?
It seems so, because Balbirnie has been finding the boundary regularly. And like I said, relatively early in the over. Once again, wrong line from Naseem. Fielder there at square leg, but it went fine. Fakhar Zaman could only see it go over the fence. Under pressure, Naseem.
Good change of pace this time. Yeah, the boys are back in town, rang out across Clontarf Cricket Ground by one of Dublin's most famous musicians, Phil Lynott, Thin Lizzy. It does feel like the start of something special, the start of an Irish summer, less than 3 weeks to the World Cup. It's going to be the biggest and best World Cup of all time. These two, genuine rivals in that Group A for a Super A spot.
They are, definitely. And once again, we can't stress enough that Ireland has got that stability. And their role definition is clear, and they have enough run in the same roles. And they could just turn it on. Remember, it's...
They'll push hard, they'll want a second, but they won't get it because Balbirnie has slipped despite the fumble in the outfield. Balbirnie won't get back for the second. He's ended up on his backside.
You're making the point about this T20 cricket. I mean, it's the duration is so small that the difference that you may say about quality can be reduced, and you just get on a roll in power play whilst batting or bowling and then carry that momentum through the innings, and you can beat anyone on a given day. That is for sure. And we've seen in World Cups it happened before, the likes of Holland beating South Africa. I mean, so anything can happen.
You look at Namibia beating Sri Lanka in that last T20 World Cup, still unable to get through the group stages. There's no doubt, as Dockrell can't read the slower ball this time, that it narrows the gaps, doesn't it? The shorter the format. And one of the other big benefits for the likes of the 9 associates that will go to that World Cup, I know both 2 test nations are watching here, they have a big focus on that shortest format, so they'll probably play almost exclusively that, some of those nations, although a lot of them will play ODI cricket too. But for Ireland and Pakistan, juggling all 3 formats, it can be a little bit trickier than readjusting. And if you do look at the T20 World Cup finalists from the last edition, Pakistan's results since that final, they haven't been great. That is a world-class Yorker. All Dockrell can do is dig it out for a single. So it's only 6 runs from that over, and the required run rate is exactly 10 per over. 143 for 3. It couldn't be any better setup, really, for the neutral, for the Irish fan, or maybe not for the nervy Pakistan fan watching back home in Lahore, in Islamabad, in beautiful Pakistan. Right now, they'll be watching nervously, is that right?
That is true. Following Pakistan team is never easy. It'll spring a surprise either way in terms of upping their quality and also disappointing at the same time.
Change in bowling, it could well have worked the oracle immediately. It's Dockrell. He did half the job, but he couldn't see it through. Scoops it up to cover. Pakistan have that vital breakthrough that they so badly needed.
And that is off the back of a good Naseem Shah over, so the pressure is building. And Irish, once they're getting closer to that victory, they will start to feel that nerve as well. Crossing the line can be the biggest hurdle at times. Fakhar Zaman with the catch. And Abbas Afridi with the back of the hand slow delivery takes care of Dockrell, who played a little cameo for 24 of just 12. Ireland 143 for 4.
Yeah.
Back of the hand.
Big moment in the game. Dockrell is gone, who provided that impetus. He's gone for an even 200 strike rate, 24 off 12, and they're not going to go to Camphor. Camphor continues to be demoted down the order as Gareth Delaney, who is in power-fitting form, sublime power-hitting form in Kathmandu and also in Sharjah against the Nepal sides and the Afghanistan sides, comes in at number 6. But it's a slightly different beast, isn't it? Facing the likes of Abbas Afridi, Naseem Shah and Shaheen Shah Afridi. Just feel a momentum shift here, Faisal.
It does. That's what was expected if Pakistan had got the wicket. And although Abbas Afridi is known for his variations, but he's gained some pace over the last 8 to 12 months. He's a tall, strapping lad, and he can really get it through if he wants to. And Delaney would have found that out after his first delivery. Goes back to that slow delivery immediately. It's been placed nicely. Saim Ayub will cut the boundary down. Couple of runs there. It required run rate of 10 at the beginning of this over. Really wouldn't worry modern day batters. But the fall of wicket and another quiet over could really build pressure. And Bill Burney, who's watching this from the other end, he would need to take things into his own hands. I have a feeling.
Yeah, what an opportunity, though, for Abbas Afridi, though. You think of the much-vaunted pace attack, you think of the other names, but the youngster who only made his debut this year gets away with the full toss this time. He's done really well with the Multan Sultans, hasn't he, in the Pakistan Super League, to get himself into what looks like an almost impregnable Pakistan bowling attack. But he's got real pace, he's got real skills, and this is a massive opportunity for him to stake a claim to not just get into that World Cup squad, but maybe into the World Cup 11.
Exactly. A lot of skill, it takes a lot of courage as well. And for such a young man to have is incredible.
Ireland needed a boundary, and they're going to get it. They're going to get it from Balbirnie. It's not just a boundary, it's gone all the way for 6. The pendulum's that, and it's the bat of Balbirnie that delivers it.
Yeah, the wicket that came earlier in the over from back of the hand slow delivery was pitched up. This was a half tracker, slower in pace, it just sat up. And Balbirnie had all the time in the world to pick a spot, and he wasn't going to miss out on that. This is turning into a terrific knock from Andy Balbirnie. Could it be a match-winning one? This is what Ireland would be thinking.
Well, this time Balbirnie good enough to get it for a single. He'll keep the strike. The equation remains the same despite the loss of Dockrell. It's still 10 runs required per over. It's 153 for 4. Faisal, the 5 bowling options that they've used, is there anyone that you're surprised not to have seen being given an over? Is there a 6th bowling option?
Yes, Saim Ayub, definitely. He has a little bit of mystery about him as well, but probably those short straight boundaries has really put Bobber against getting him into the attack, and by this time I think it's too late, or is it? I don't know. But Afridi's got 1 over, and then Abbas Afridi's got 1 over. Naseem Shah's over will be crucial. Despite him spraying around, that figures of 1 for 26 for Naseem Shah is not really that bad, considering he went just straight around in his first over in particular. But that is a crucial over.
Massive over this one. It is Naseem Shah to bowl the 18th. Balbirnie slashes it through the offside. Mid-off has work to do, and he does it brilliantly. Oh, what a stop that is. How critical could that be? Body on the line, I think it's Rizwan.
He's
and
an
it's 2 runs
absolute
saved.
live wire. Yeah, Rizwan is an absolute live wire. He gave the chase. He's very, very quick across the ground. He wasn't going to give up, although you feel like he's struggling a little bit, but it brings out that big dive. Excellent effort.
Gone up into the air and put down. It's Shadab Khan. I think he's got there. It wasn't easy. He's done all the hard work. I think he's got a good hand to it. And Balbirnie now has a life. How critical could that be?
He was parallel to the ground when he got his hand to it. If anyone could have done it, it would have been Shadab Khan. I have to give him 10 out of 10 for the effort. That ball hung in the air for quite some time, but he's not at regulation point. He's behind point, backward a point.
Into the block hole, brilliant bowling. Well, this game, it's maybe showing us what we have to look forward to for this series and the World Cup to come. It's cricket's most high-octane format. 20 teams coming together next month, these two in a Group A that also includes India. We haven't even mentioned that yet, that India-Pakistan game in New York.
Yeah, that's really the big one, but Ireland is showing that you can't count them out as well. Really giving a fight to Pakistan.
And I tell you, that's incredibly well bowled and nicely played by Balbirnie too. It's actually swung a bit late in him. And Balbirnie good enough to get it round the corner for a single. He looks a different man, doesn't he? Burdened by the captaincy, it almost weighed heavy on his shoulders towards the end of his era. And now freed up from that, he's back to his best.
He is absolutely back to his best. This is a top-class innings against a very, very good bowling attack. In 183, it was just slightly above par for this pitch, the way conditions were at the beginning of the day. I would have thought 180 would be par. But to guide that chase the way he has, but I'm afraid his job is not finished yet.
And what he needs from Gareth Delaney is just a little helping hand. A fumble again is going to cost a second. Pakistan, for me, their quality, their athleticism, they pride themselves on being a much better fielding side than 10, 20 years ago. They've been sloppy today.
Yeah, and that's Iftikhar again, who's had that dropped catch on the boundary as well, and another fumble. He's already had a couple more fumbles on the outfield. It's a beautiful outfield, so there's no excuse for that. And we saw the way Irish fielded it, and Pakistan has done exactly the opposite.
And that's Gareth Delaney, pierces the gap, finds four, maybe guiding Ireland home. It's definite advantage to the hosts now. It's less than 10 runs per over. It'll be 19 to win off 2. 164 for 4. Andy Balbirnie now with a helping hand from Gareth Delaney, driving Ireland home to what is a position they would have taken at the start of the day. I can assure you on that. Big gulf between these two sides in the ICC T20I rankings, and right now Ireland are sensing another shock, maybe the biggest one of Paul Stirling's captaincy. You just feel that they can sense they've done all the hard work, now they have to get over the line. But this over, the 19th, it's so often the critical one. It will be bowled by Shaheen Shah Afridi. 19 to win off 12. Starts with a wide down the leg side, make that 18 to win off 12.
Yeah, where is Babar Azam? What is he thinking? I had a feeling when that boundary was hit of the last ball of the previous over, I saw a few shoulders slump. That was a telling blow. Up until that point, Naseem has bowled a really good over. And to still concede what was needed at the time, concede more than what was needed, it will really be deflating. Shaheen needs to make a big comeback for Pakistan.
Protection out there, so it'll just be a single. Balbirnie already his career best in T20I cricket against a Test nation. Only one innings as he played better. That was 83 against the Netherlands. 17 off 11. You sense Ireland want a boundary early in this over if they can.
Yeah, they've done that in the last, since we've been on, in the last 5-6 overs, they've been able to find the boundary within the first 3 deliveries, and with 10 needed, it makes their task a lot easier. And apart from one Naseem Shah over, they've been finding the boundary almost every over, and that has really made the equation very simple for them.
Mid-off up in the circle. Gets it into the block hole. It'll just be a single. Maybe not the worst result. For Delaney, his power, his strength is really eating finger spin, left arm spin for breakfast and smashing it down the ground. The pace of Afridi into the block hole, difficult to play. Maybe Balbirnie's the one who needs to find the boundary here.
He does, and the way Babar has used his bowlers, he has left himself with no option. So Abbas will bowl the last over. How many can Shaheen leave for him? How many would he be comfortable protecting?
That's a crucial dot. Well, I think he's got to give him double digits. Can he give him 10, 11, 12? There's nothing wrong with the delivery, well inside the guideline. Balbirnie even gave himself a bit of room. Big dot ball, that one.
Indeed, Shaheen Afridi is really showing us that any question marks about his death bowlings that you had, he's really made big strides. None for 21. Probably he has been the pick of the Pakistan bowlers in terms of his consistency and control.
Full toss, bowled him! Bowled him, bowled him, bowled him! And it's a crestfallen Andrew Balbirnie. He won't be the one to be there at the end. Pakistan have life, and it's thanks to that man again, Shaheen Shah Afridi.
It's the eagle. He has swooped, and look at the crowd. The Pakistani crowds are up on their feet. Although it was a full toss, Balbirnie just could not believe what he's done. He played all around a full toss, and he was onto his knees, and his head buried in his hands. He couldn't believe. He has to depart after playing a wonderful innings, and he'll take a standing ovation, but Ireland has still some way to go to achieve that victory.
One more look at it here. It was a full toss. It was there to be hit. It was really exactly where you'd want it, but he's missed it entirely coming across it. Balbirnie's gone for 77, 167 for 5. Ireland's Iceman, Curtis Camphor, he's in at number 7, 16 to win off 8. Looks for an audacious stroke. Oh my! What a shot from your first delivery. Talk about ice in his veins. Camphor, reverse, scoops it for 4.
Take that, Shaheen Afridi. Where did that come from? You have to have nerves of steel to do that to Shaheen Afridi. Very first delivery, the game on the line. And he moved right across, got himself into a good position, and look at those hands.
Well, Owen Morgan, eat your heart out. That is quite extraordinary. The audacity to play the shot from his first delivery. 12 off 7 now. Down the ground, protection out there, fumbles it. Delaney wants a second. It's such a short boundary, he won't get it. So Camphor will have the strike. It'll be 11 to win off the final over. It's 172 for 5.
What a game this has turned out to be. 11 of the last 6. Ireland has really put themselves into a great position. Although Balbirnie's wicket have pegged them back, but Delaney is still there. And Camphor with that audacious stroke has really put Pakistan under pressure. Pakistan has not many options. It will be Abbas Afridi.
You just saw an iconic Irish symbol, a Dublin landmark there. Our own little Twin Towers in Dublin Bay. And it's not just Dublin watching on here. Belfast, Derry, Galway and Cork. But what about Karachi, Lahore, Faisalabad, Rawalpindi? What about Peshawar, Multan? What are they feeling back home?
I can tell you that a lot of the people has tuned into this, and what they're thinking, what they was thinking for most of the time against that series in New Zealand. A lot of the fans weren't very happy with the way things were going, and this will also challenge Pakistan.
20th and final over, starts with a boundary. What a stroke! Abbas Afridi has done camp for all ends up, but somehow he's got the bat up right in front of his face to get it away for 4 more.
Wow. Batting, look at the innovation, the improvisation, but more than that, the character bat down.
Well, incredible bravery from Curtis Camphor. 7 to win off 5. Swing and a miss, make it 7 off 4. What an opportunity for both these young men, both still in their early 20s. Camphor feels like he's been around longer than that. Who will hold their nerve? Will it be Abbas Afridi in his first year in the international game, or will it be Curtis Camphor?
Yeah, Ireland is favourite right now. You'd have to say this. Boss hand, slow delivery, but he cannot go wrong in terms of line and length. It has to be a perfect execution with deception as well. And Pakistan need a wicket.
Well, the man at deep third has gone back, long on is out too. The middle, can Delaney get back for the second? Oh, Afridi very, very slow to that. Abbas Afridi can't believe what Shaheen has done. It's 5 to win off 3.
It's going right down to the wire. Great running. You would think that you won't chance Shaheen's arm, and it's not a big boundary as well. Really got off the blocks really quickly, Delaney. It was his call coming to the non-striker end, the danger end. In the end, Shaheen had to throw to the keeper's end because Delaney had covered the distance so quickly.
Looks for the block hole. Skews off an inside edge, runs to the rope, hits the rope! Ireland, they level the scores! They sense history! Maybe one of their biggest T20I wins of all time! And stand on the brink!
Yeah, Pakistan in the field, their shoulders slumped, and most of their crowds here in this stand, they really have cheered them on, but not to be, it looks like it. A full toss, an inside edge, anything would do for Ireland, but credit goes to you have a substitute on the field. It's Irfan Khan Niazi coming on, and Naseem. This is not a good side for Pakistan, not in terms of the scorecard and not in terms of the visual you see with Naseem Shah not getting up onto his feet. He had only just recovered from that shoulder injury, which he sustained from a similar looking dive back in Asia Cup.
Physio's over for treatment. Let's hope he's okay. He looks like he is moving. The scores are level. Ireland just need 1 run. Any run will do. It's Camphor, the hero right now, but he's building on Balbirnie and indeed Dockrell too. They're going to scamper a single, and Ireland go 1-0 up. It's a leg bye, they won't mind what it is. It's a historic victory. You can add Clontarf to the list of the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the Chinnaswamy in 2011, Nelson in 2015, and indeed against Pakistan back in Sabina Park in 2007, that game we discussed. What a win! They take it by 5 wickets with just 1 ball to spare. Ireland victorious.
They are indeed, and they deserve it. Only a leg by the winning run, but any which way will do for Ireland. They put up a great fight, set up by splendid display in the field. Their ground fielding was terrific. They threw themselves around. Terrific catches and run-outs as well. And when it came to the run chase, after a slow and sluggish start, they really recovered through Captain Balbirnie. And the finish was absolutely scintillating. It went all the way down to the wire. 1 delivery to spare. Pakistan will ponder hard. They've only got away with a 2-all series victory at home against a weakened New Zealand side, and now coming here and getting a defeat at the hands of Ireland. Incredible scenes.
Handshakes in the crowd. One Pakistan fan congratulates an Irish one, and it'll be warm handshakes on the field now. Pakistan, well, they've been given a massive warning sign ahead of next month's